It's a beautiful day here in Okayama, and it's also a beautiful day here to go racing. Welcome to round 2 of the 2022 Hololive GT3 Japan Series, and today we'll be racing here on the mountainside of Okayama. And here we're going to be taking a look into the track map before we're going to get the qualifying session underway. Track length of the track, 3.7 kilometers in total. Track width ranges between 12 to 15 meters. There's 11 corners in total. Left corners 4, right corners 7. If we want to talk about the highest point of the circuit, we have Hobbs, which is at 275 meters above sea level. Meanwhile, the lowest point of the circuit is Atwood Curve, which only stands at 246 meters above sea level. As similar to last Friday, we're going to be seeing a target lap time of a 129.2 at least for the fastest drivers here. Now we're going to be talking about the championship context here for Split B this time. We're going to be taking a look into the championship leader for Split B. Gabriel Ariadne, representing Tokino Sora, currently sits at 175 points ahead of Dan Powell in the number 20 Shiranui Flat Nissan. He sits at 118 points. Mamashaki Reza only won one race and didn't score on the next one. He represents Roboco and only has 100 points. Sean Pauly in the number 5 Nakamoto Kayo Nissan only has 57 points. He represents, he only has 57 points, only 2 points ahead of Alex Grant, representing Aki Rosenthal in the number 19 Lexus. He has 55 points. Callum Gibbons in the number 18 Okayama Lexus has 43 points. Philip Deff with his consistent run, representing Tsunamaki Watami, has 33 points. Kizuhara Leos manages to score a 5th in race 1 but didn't score in the next race, representing Murasaki Shion. He only has 32 points. Santi Ni, on the other hand, representing Yukihana Lamy, did score a 5th, but that was on race 2 as he didn't score in race 1 last round in here in Fuji. By that virtue, Kizuhara Leo wins the tiebreaker because he scored his points first compared to Santi. Mama Zohair, representing Usada Pecora in the number 11 Honda, only has 26 points. Also a very consistent run. It's between 6th and 8th, I believe. Raja Kaczynski in the number 74 Yuzuki Choco Lexus may need assistance from Choco Sensei if he wants to bring that number 74 Lexus up into the point standings with a very good run. Alex Boy and Mama Shazan Rizal, man, they both tangle hard and really hard back at Fuji. They only have 5 and 3 points. They may want to look into seeing improvements this round in here in Okayama, because Castro and Abiaza basically almost scored no points. As for Abiaza, he scored none at all. They're looking to make a turnaround here in Okayama with a points-paying finish at the very least. Hi, this is Mama Shazan Reza speaking, as we're going to be transitioning over into qualifying. We're going to be basically joining me in the booth is none other than Callum Gibbons, representing the number 18 Nakiri Ayame Lexus. So Gibbo, how's the day today and what are your expectations for this round here in Okayama?
Yes, good day everyone. Hope you're enjoying your Easter Sunday. Now, compared to the last Friday's race, we had a few developments. And if you caught up on Split A, we saw that, of course, Charles and Reds are absolutely dominating in the number 30 Honda. But one unusual development was the Lexuses were 2 to 3 seconds off the pace in both qualifying and the race. And so apparently there's been a work between Lexus and the race direction into trying to improve their performance for Split B.
Yeah, as we're going to be taking a look into the Lexus cars actually. And speaking of Lexus cars, here's one of the Lexus cars that looks to be seeing improvement. Abiaza in the number 66, Yoso Ramel Lexus. Now, basically, what the conversation between the race control, the race directors, the sanctioning body, and Lexus is basically they want to improve the physics, they want to improve the car just a little bit, improve the setup just a little bit, and also have a switch into tires. And after the small test that has been done the day before Split B is scheduled to race, which is actually right now, they have been looking to be more equal in terms of pace now. Because after this, compared to Split A, the Split B Lexus cars now have 2 seconds are now 2 seconds faster compared to the Split A Lexus cars, which have been tampered with, not really tampered with, but had been compromised in terms of pace overall. And so expect the Lexus to be quite as competitive, actually more competitive than the Split A Lexus. And for Split A beyond, expect the Lexus to find some performance from Sepang onwards. And as for the Nissan, they also noted that the Nissan has been brought over new tires to basically reel them into the basically in the battle here between the three car manufacturers, so that we can have more parity between car manufacturers. And also, yeah, and about the Mohamed Reza dominating, he dominated the number 31 Honda. For the number 30 Honda, that may be a different story. And speaking of a different story, let's go on board with Dan Powell in the number 20 Shiranui Flare Lexus. So, Gibbo, how about we take over a lap here in Okayama?
Well, like hand to Mike that corner right now, setting himself up for the first flying lap. He's currently on his out lap, so nice now to Apex get a good exit for the main straight, heading across the timing line to start the flying lap. So obviously not as long straight as Fuji, so not as much time to really like chill and sit still. So you got to get right into the first corner, hard braking, late apex, keeps it tidy, good exit, and then right into the left-hander at Williams again, tucking in nicely. Stable setup there. Heading into the Moss S's, you can pretty much go flat out through this section, 4th gear, head up into 5th gear, and then hard braking into Atwood Curve. Still keeping it nice and tidy, keeping it within that apex, and a good exit onto the longer back straight. So here, take a chill pill, have a coffee or whatever, and set yourself up for the hard braking zone. That will be the hairpin. So 5th gear, 6th gear now, and a hard brake in 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st gear corner now. And then head to the left-hander of Revolver Corner. Still keeping it nice and tidy, still stable inputs on the steering wheel. Then Piper Corner, set yourself up for the next one of the little back straights under the billboard, and then hard brake into the Redman Corner. 58.7 for the 2nd sector. Then Hobbs Corner. Still keeping it nice and tidy, not really any erratic inputs on the steering wheel. Back up again to Mike Knight Corner, penultimate corner, keeping it nice and easy. Using all the tracks, setting himself up for the last corner, getting a good exit. Let's see what time we're going to have here. We're looking for 1 minute 29s or even 28s for this qualifying.
Actually, the 1:29.281 for Dan Powell. He puts himself 5th in the basically qualifying order in the timing beam here. He currently sits 5th. As of him making the lap, Alex Bowen and Gabriel Ariadne have set provisional pole lap times for what's basically making a Nissan front row. With that Nissan front row, as we've seen in Fuji Split B Race 2 and Okayama Split A Race 2, if you can have a Nissan front row, you can basically block the advances of Hondas and Lexus, which has far superior traction. And with that, you could basically go into a Nissan 1-2 formation, maybe until the end of the race, as what Gabriel Ariadne had proven last race back at Fuji. Meanwhile, Mohamed Reza has actually improved 1/10 up on his previous best lap time. He is now only basically 100, nearly a 10th behind Alex Bowen. So remember the battle of the commentators between Alex Bowen and Mohamed Reza. Basically, it rages on into Okayama. There's no separating them. There's no separating the two, isn't it?
Yeah, you really can't keep them apart. Unfortunately, they're sort of down towards the rear end of the championship, so they're still in their own little battle at the moment. But hopefully, they can, with the encouraging qualifying, they can get themselves up to the top end of the championship.
Yeah, speaking of the championship, let's look into the top runners there. Gabriel Ariadne is putting himself in a very neat position. He qualifies 4th. Unfortunately, he's in the pit lane, so he probably wouldn't come in any further in qualifying. And Dan Powell is currently in 7th. A bit encouraging, just a little bit, but pretty meh here compared to Ariadne, who's currently qualified 4th. Shakib Reza is also qualifying in the top 10, so that's very promising from the young Malaysian. Sean Pauly is down to 12, unfortunately. I don't know, let's see what he can do in the race to basically climb himself back up into championship contention, starting from 12, it seems. As for the 5th place driver, Alex Grant, he's also qualified within the points. Good job from the American there.
Good job there. So Gibbons up in 6th place in the championships. Currently sitting at 11, just outside the points paying positions. Obviously want better fortunes compared to last Friday. Lexus is sort of still around midfield towards the backs, but definitely a lot better than Friday's race.
Yeah, we're seeing some of the drivers spilling into the pit lane as we're going to be seeing Miguel Castro try to improve his lap time. It's going to be a 1:30.334, 1.7 seconds behind Alex Bowen's lap time from that lap. Obviously, we're going to be seeing the end of qualifying here. We're going to be getting into the onboard, the final onboard of multiple drivers here. It's Muhammad Shazin Reza. He's going to be completing his lap. But we're going to be taking a bit of a look into Abiyaza. He doesn't improve in Sector 2. He's only 4/10 behind Alex Bowen for pole. And it looks like Alex Bowen, but if Muhammad Shazin Reza couldn't challenge Alex Bowen for pole, that means Alex Bowen will have the pole position for race 1. As we're going to be taking a look into basically Abiyaza and Muhammad Zohair basically completing their lap times. Abiyaza does not improve, neither does Muhammad Zohair. Very good qualifying lap there for Muhammad Zohair. He basically puts himself third. As we're going to be seeing the two Gen 4 Lexus cars of Raja Kaczynski and Callum Gibbons. Kaczynski doesn't improve. Gibbons does improve though, but does not bump Alex Grant down into the bottom 5. Look at Alex Grant here. He's going to complete his lap. What can he place? He's down to 10th. Okay, as we're going to be taking a look into the transitions here. Well, and that's qualifying over. Very good showing from all of these drivers. And speaking of a good showing, let's show to the viewers here of the starting grid here for race 1 of round 2 of the Hololive GT3 Japan Series Split B here in Okayama. Alex Bowen starts on pole with a 1:28.628. Well, good lap there from the Australian. Muhammad Shazin Reza lines up alongside him. He may want to spoil her party in the number 30 Okami Mio Honda. Muhammad Zohair lines up third in his best ever qualifying position in the number 11 Usada Pecora Honda. Gabriel Ariadne looks to basically carry over his form from Fuji into Okayama with a 4th place start. He represents Tokino Sora. Kizuhara Leo being representing the Violet Mage Murasaki Shion. He's qualifying in 5th. Abiyaza, the best Lexus in the field, way better than what the Split A Lexus drivers had been experiencing. He represents Ramel in the number 66 Lexus. He's going to start 6th. Dan Powell, not bad, qualifying session for him. He's going to start 7th in the number 20 Shiranui Flat Nissan. Santi Ni, 8th place. He's representing Yukihana Lamy, number 63 Honda. He's going to be qualifying 8th. Mamashaki Reza, 3rd in the championship standings, representing the number 64 Roboco Lexus. Remember, Roboco's Wi-Fi is fast. Let's see if he can transfer over that fag into the racetrack. He qualifies 9th. Alex Grant is in 10th place, representing the number 19 Aki Rota Lexus. He's in 10th. Callum Gibbons in the number 18 Nakiri Ayame Lexus. He's going to qualify 11th. Sean Pauly down to 12 in the number 5 Nakamata Akai Nissan. What can he do from back down the grid? And then it's basically Lexus 13, 14, and 50 with Miguel Castro representing Shishiro Botan in the number 43 Lexus. He qualifies 13th. Raja Kaczynski really needs that assistance from Choco Sensei, it seems. He's qualified 14th. Let's just hope that he could keep it clean into the race. And then rounding up the basically qualifying order, Phil Depp in the number 3 Suramaki Watame Lexus basically rounds up the qualifying order. And as we're going to be basically switching over camera views here as we're going to be getting the race start underway. We're going to be transitioning over to the race just a little bit. Okay, before we're going to get the race start, let's just, what are your hopes for race 1, Gibbo?
Just a much better result for the Lexus. That made me very sad on Friday.
Yeah, it's a bit sad for the Lexus here, but with the improved BOP and with the reeling in the Nissan, we're going to be seeing a Lexus maybe challenging the Nissans and Hondas finally in Okayama. As we're about to get the race underway, it's going to be 1 red light, wait, no, 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, engines are revving. And we're going to be racing here in Okayama. Oh, and it looks like Muhammad Reza manages to bring the Honda to a really good launch there. He immediately assumes the lead. He takes the lead into turn 1. Alex Bowen is going to try to fend off Muhammad Zohair on the outside. And then now he's going to try to fend it off on the inside. But it looks like Muhammad Zohair has the superior traction there. But Alex Bowen has the better exit. And it's going to be Muhammad Shazin Reza leading for Alex Bowen. Muhammad Zohair is in 3rd. Gabi Ariadne in 4th. and then Kizahara Leo 5th, Azad in 6th, Dan Powell in 7th, Santini in 8th, Alex Grant in 9th, and Muhammad Shakib Reza. Oh, it's going to be some side-by-side battles here between Holly and Gibbons and Def and Kaczynski. Not bad from Def, who actually started from 15th, he's now up to 13th.
Yeah, poor stuff from Bowen there, just not really getting that traction to the ground for that start, like Shazza Reza, possibly superior traction in that Honda, getting it into that first corner.
And meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into multiple gainers here. Dan Powell and Abi Azad battling side by side, and it looks to me that Dan Powell has the slower exit there off of Piper and into Redmond. Azad is just a nose ahead of basically Powell. He now takes 6th, and now Dan Powell's under pressure from Santi, but looks like Dan Powell is going to try to challenge the Yozora Mel car driven by Abi Azad back into the final 2 turns. Mike Knight, oh, there's nearly contact there, but manages to keep clean both of these drivers.
Yeah, just trying to set themselves into room now, find their position on the track and get themselves single file and possibly driving formation for this first half. What we saw on Fridays, that they tend to like just be chill, just keep themselves in the formation, but here it's a bit more argy-bargy this time.
Oh, look, speaking of less argy-bargy, there's no argy-bargy here between Sean Pauly and Mohan Shakib Reza, as they're going to be battling side by side. And it looks like Sean Pauly is back into the point bank position. Shakib Reza is now out of it for the second race running as it seems, but it took a little peek into the inside there, Shakib Reza, but it's not close enough for a pull. Count Gibbons is looking to pile in on the pressure, pushes him just a little bit off the outside there, but nothing comes out of it.
Yeah, not really good exit there, really not close enough to look for a move there, but Dev looking possibly for a move here, got that inside line there, heading into the hairpin. Nice hard braking, takes a lot of curb. Still keeps it together, but I think it's still side by side ahead into revolver corner indeed.
And it looks like Gibbo, he manages to defend basically his position of 12th very, very well there. And given that the race is about to settle in, oh, look at Kaczynski and Castro, they're going to be battling for the silver spoon, 74 and 43. Oh, it's going to be a side-by-side battle. Oh, it takes a lot bit of curb there. Kaczynski, that's going to compromise his exit. But they are still quite side-by-side, half a car length between the two. But looks like Castro is just slightly better ahead compared to everyone else. Mama Shadow is set the fastest lap of the race with 128.802.
Yeah, definitely fast lap better than 28s. Most people are doing either 29s or 30s at this point.
Yeah. Speaking of the basically pace here, we're also going to be taking a look into the field monitors. Actually, I've been noted that remember when I said that the Lexus has been going to be trying their hand into basically a don't-stop strategy back into split A? Well, the problem was in split B, they're going to try to basically top up to the rim themselves. If you look at Abi Azad, Alex Grant, Callum Gibbons, Raja Kaczynski, Philip Def, Miguel Castro, and Muhammad Shakib Reza, they've all been topped up to the brim. They may want to try to replicate the don't-stop strategy that has worked for some of these drivers back in split A, and of course, with a better pace there, they may be looking for a race win.
Yeah, obviously with that pace deficit in split A, they were able to make use of that no-stop, get themselves into the midfield and vigorously defend their positions. With the better pace here, they're looking a bit more racy here, so maybe if they go for a no-stop, there'll be a bit more offense and defense.
Yeah, it's going to be very good there from basically the Lexus cars out there, as we're going to be taking a look into Nissans and Hondas, who are going to probably pit in the next few laps or so. Muhammad Shahid Reza is going to be looking to pit sooner or later. He's at the fastest lap, 28.7, as he pulls away from Alex Bowen. Gabriel Ariadne tops up 17 liters of, is currently at 17 liters of fuel. Alex Bowen and Gizar Leo are basically almost empty in terms of fuel at the moment. They're going to be pitting in the next 3 or 4 laps or so. Sean Pauly and Mama Zohair and Dan Powell as well. They're looking to probably make the one and only stop for race 1 here in Okayama, as does Santini. So expect these drivers to pit at around the lap 10 mark, around the lap 10 to 15 mark, or maybe even earlier.
Yeah, like Fuji, we're not expecting that two-stop strategy. I think the strategists realised that strategy has absolutely no benefit to them whatsoever.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a look into the live gaps there. Mama Zohair is getting closer to Alex Bowen. Alex Bowen is due to pit sooner or later. and as does Ariadne, they're all within, let's say, 3 to 4 seconds within each other. And speaking of the driver positions, let's look into the progress chart. Reza has gained a position against Alex Bowen, who doesn't have the best start in the Nissan. Meanwhile, Alex Grant has gained a position from 10. Sean Pauly gains 2 positions, basically from 12. Philip Depp has a really good launch there at the start. He's now up 2 positions. He's now up to 13th.
Yeah, we're seeing at this point the field isn't really quite as spread out as it was like in Split A, and the Lexus is still keeping in contact with the rest of the field. Like last time they were losing around 2 to 3 seconds per lap. This time with it being filtered in, it's more like they're losing about a second, or there's even a couple of 29s from the Lexus, so definitely a lot better race pace this time around.
And especially Abi Azad here. Abi Azad came in with no points. There was no pace. He has been told in the number 66 Ramel Lexus. He's going to be looking to make some improvements, basically some quality of life improvements here in Okayama compared to Fuji. Obviously, with him being in the top 10, that means he is able to score points. And with his position at the moment, he is looking to score 21 points. And we're gonna be taking a look into the championship context. He's going to, well, I think still stay in the bottom 10 as of late, but he will definitely jump, let's say, guys like Miguel Castro and Raja Kaczynski, who are down in the points.
Yeah, it's definitely closer among that midfield in the championship, so I think there's a lot of room for shuffling after these 2 races.
And speaking of the shuffling, here's the first guys who are going to pit. Kizuhara Leo is going to be the first guy to basically make his first and only stop. Let's see what he can do with the undercut strategy, and it's not the only one. Santini and Sean Pauly. Let's see if they can make the undercut strategy work for all these drivers.
Yeah, a few people going for the early pit, and yeah, as I said, look to make use of that undercut, make use of those fresh tyres and possibly some more clear air as well, so get themselves out of traffic and get into a rhythm.
Yeah, get into the rhythm for these 3 drivers there, because I actually noted that in terms of strategy, there is the undercut strategy and then there's the overcut strategy. Basically, undercut means pit early, exit in clean air, make up the lost ground by making fast lap times while in clean air, while your opponents are basically stuck with basically traffic and all that stuff. And once your opponent has pitted and you have the better pace, you manage to pass them through pit stops. Overcutting is a bit different. You basically pit later than others, and this can work if, let's say, if the tires don't warm up fast enough and all that stuff, or if they get caught up in traffic and all that stuff. Basically, the opponent pits first and you pit later, and if your overcut strategy has worked, it will be shown by basically you exiting ahead of your opponent who has undercutted. So basically, it could go both ways. Meanwhile, Alex Bowen is on the next person to pit in this lap. Meanwhile, we're taking a look at Gabriel Ariadne. He's going to be trying to make a move into Mama's way. 1 and 11 battling into turn 1. Tokino Sora versus Usada Pecora, who is going to emerge supreme, who is going to emerge victorious, as they're going to be side by side into Williams. Let's see. Oh, it's going to be side by side there. Mama Zoya has the better traction there. Good defense there by the Malaysian there. He manages to stay ahead of Ariadne.
Yeah, had a good late dive in that first corner, got some good track position there, but unfortunately was on the outside line for the second corner, so just didn't have quite that grip to complete the overtake.
Yeah, speaking of basically all the other drivers here, we're going to be taking a look to Alex Bowen. Alex Bowen, I believe, is... Hang on. Kizuhara Leo still has 12 liters of fuel, and Alex Bowen has 16 liters of fuel, and Sean Pauly has 11 liters of fuel. I may want to take a look if they want to make the pit stops again. I don't know if there has been a glitch into basically the fuel pump or something. We're going to be updating you on basically those stories later on, and we're going to be taking a look into all the other drivers here. Mama Reza is still pulling away from Mama Zuhair, who's currently in second place. In terms of the drivers who are going to pit, we're going to be shuffling into some of the drivers here. Right now, no drivers are going to be into pit road just yet. But yeah, we're going to be keeping you guys on updates on the fuel flow for the Nissans and Hondas as we progress through the race.
Yeah, well, we also should be expecting to see the Lexus do adopt that no-stop strategy. What we did see on Friday was the Lexus making their way up to the top of the field, but then getting swamped by those with fresher tyres. Now, as Lexus has better race pace this time around, that may not be as apparent this time, but they're definitely going to be at some disadvantage with those warm tyres.
Yeah, speaking of the Lexus there, Cam Gibbs with 130.8, the 3 Lexus cars behind him are actually quite faster, so they may want to take a look into pouncing the number 18 Okayama Lexus. We're going to be updating you guys on that later. We're going to be taking a look back into the race field monitor. Mohamed Reza is due to make his next pit stop. And so, yeah, Mohamed Reza will be the next person to make his pit stop, as does Dan Powell. And then later on, Mohamed Zohair will make his pit stop.
And looking at Alex Bowen still on that low fuel load, so maybe they might be thinking of a 2-stop, but again, very unorthodox.
Yeah, very unorthodox indeed, because I believe they have miscalculated the fuel on the race start. We've been heard that basically Sean Pauli, Alex Bowen, and Kizuhara Leo have miscalculated their fuel loads at the race start. They basically topped up way too low, way too early in this race, and they actually couldn't be able to basically top up to the brim when they try to make their pit stop, or if they want to make their laps, because they made their pit stop on lap 6 or lap 5, and basically that's going to pay them handsomely. Actually, they're going to pay them dearly, as they're now going to be further down the grid, as they're going to be forced to make their second stops.
Yeah, unfortunately with this race format, it's not exactly your endurance format where you can be more variable with the strategy. Usually with these shorter races, you're pretty much fixed into either doing one stop or no stop, as there isn't really enough to make that lost time.
And yeah, speaking of the pit stop strategies there, Mohamed Reza is only like, what, 30 seconds behind Mohamed Zohair. If Mohamed Zohair can have more pace and then Mohamed Reza hold the tires at the moment, then Mohamed Zohair could edge ahead of Mohamed Reza in terms of pit strategy. Now, we've been talking about the pit strategies here. Oh, look at Alex Grant trying to defend here from Mohamed Shakif Reza there into they're about to enter the third sector. Let's see how much Alex Grant is going to defend Mohamed Shakif Reza, because if we actually know something, Shakif Reza has a lap time of a 129 last lap, so we may want to take a look into the number 64 car.
Yeah, Shakif Reza and Azza being the better paced Lexus drivers at this point, instead in the 29s, whereas most of the other Lexus are even the 30s or 31s.
Yeah, and speaking of the 31s there, Mohamed Reza is 31 seconds behind. Mohamed Zohair sets a really good lap there. Zohair 28.787. He may have a chance to basically make the overcut work, as we're going to be taking a look at Gabi Ariadne and Mohamed Zohair, who is going to be next in line to make their pit stops. And unfortunately, Alex Bowen, Kizara Leo, and Sean Pauli will have to make their second stops. They have been told, they have basically misjudged and miscalculated their second stop, their fuel loads at the start of the race, and they have been stuck with basically a 2-stop strategy for the remainder of the race. So at this point, they will be out of contention for basically a good amount of points there for these 3 drivers, unfortunately.
As you were saying, that Shakif Reza going wide into the Atwood curve, couldn't really get that exit, and not really close enough to make a move here. It's not really long enough of a back straight like Fuji to make use of the slipstream, so the best you can do is just tuck behind and hope to really pressure into a mistake or have a go on the next lap.
Here we're going to be taking a look into Mohamed Zohair and Gabriel Ariadne. They're going to be looking to make their one and only stop on lap 10 of 27 in race 1, round 2 here in Okayama, the 2022 Hololive GT3 Japan Series. And speaking of all the other drivers, actually, Shazan Reza and all the Nissan and Honda drivers on back, they are all basically behind the Lexus. And now it's all about let's see if these drivers are able to basically overtake these Lexus cars as easily as they could or not, because these Lexus cars are very, very adamant about trying to defend their race positions, as they are basically communicating no stop strategy. We will be taking a look into Mohamed Reza as rounding off the final 2 turns. Let's see where Mohamed Reza will end up relative to Mohamed Zohair. And Mohamed Zohair is
Yeah.
still stopped there. And Mohamed Zohair has just got basically just managed to get out of his pit box. And Mohamed Shazrin Reza basically assumes basically 8th place. And if he could pass all the Lexus cars, that would mean a net race lead for these drivers.
Yeah, it'll be a very demanding effort though, 28 seconds behind the race leader at this point, and with only about, what, like 16 laps to go, that's a very tough ask.
Very tough ask for all of these Nissans and Hondas, as we have confirmation. Kizara Leo, Sean Pauli, and Santini have miscalculated their basically their fuel loads at the start of the race. They basically had to pit twice at this point. They couldn't conserve the fuel as they could at that point, so that's why they're down there basically in 13, 14, 15. But with the Hondas and Nissans being held up by the slower Lexus cars, who are going to be trying to fight tooth and nail for race position there, maybe these three drivers may be able to catch at best Ariadne. And look at Powell there. Powell is going to try to fight Ariadne. They are currently 1-2 in the championship standings there, and it looks like Dan Powell has the edge over Ariadne, although they are now out of the points.
Yeah, passing through the billboard now, just not close enough to make a move there.
Yeah, not close enough there. Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into some of the other drivers. 131.193 for Kaczynski. Let's see what Mohamed Shazrin Reza could set. He is now basically 3 seconds faster than Kaczynski. Let's see, with the gap that he has right now, he could catch Kaczynski by lap 18. Basically, but that's just Kaczynski, because after Kaczynski, he has Castro, Def, Gibbons, Shakib Reza, Grant, and Azad to pass, which basically makes up a Lexus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And basically a Lexus lockout for race 1 provisionally.
Yeah, I think the other manufacturers will have a word race direction about the fact that the Lexus can do that no-stop strategy while everyone else has to pit for fuel. So I think at this point, Shaz and Redza could probably hope for a top 5 at best with these current gaps.
And actually, I've been noted that it was 18 seconds between Kaczynski and Shazrin, but I think it looks to me that it's now Kaczynski has pulled away just a little bit there. He's now 19 seconds. And actually, we're going to be taking a look into some of the other drivers here. Mohamed Zohair and Alex Bowen is currently 9th and 10th. Now, let's get some of the facts out of the table. Now, currently running 9th and 10th, Mohamed Zohair and Alex Bowen, respectively. They represent Usara Pecora and Minato Aqua, respectively. And in 2020, especially, they have been embroiled with a aggressive ad campaign. They were being sponsored by Nissan to promote their Karimeshi brand. And in 2020, Ozora Subaru, who basically has her car in Split A, and Mohamed Zohair and Alex Bowen representing Minato Osara Pecora and Minato Aqua in Split B. Well, these three members were basically chosen to promote the Nissan's Karimeshi brand. And so significant is the branding, all that stuff, is that both of these all three of these members have been called up to basically do some idol performances on stage just to promote Nissan's Karimeshi brand. Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into Miguel Castro and Philip Dem. Also another bit of a fact file here. Representing Tsunamaki Watame is Philip Def, and representing Shishiro Botan is Miguel Castro. So Tsunamaki Watame is a sheep, Miguel Castro is a lioness, basically, and basically we're going to be seeing a predator versus prey battle here for those two drivers. Meanwhile, Mohamed Reza is now only 4 seconds behind Kaczynski. With those three drivers battling, Mohamed Reza could actually catch these two drivers as early as lap 16.
Yeah, on those fresher tyres really catching up in the moment. These Lexus packs just not really aggressive on each other that much, just continuing to drive in formation and trying to hold their position, but they're really going to have to get their defense on against the Honda.
But I have to also note as well, Callum Gibbons has a lap time of a 1:29, only 1 second slower than Shazin Reza, so Gibbons may have a chance to hold on to 4th. Shakib Reza is also holding on steady to 3rd, 2nd is Alex Grant, and Abi Azad though. You want to know where he started? Let's look at the progress chart. He started 6th, is now up into the race lead. Alex Grant started 10th, is now up to basically 2nd. Shakib Reza started 9th, he's now up to 3rd. Cam Gibbons started 11th, he's now up to 4th. Philip Dev started last, he's now up to 5th. He may just as well be a driver today if it had it not been for the Nissan and Hondas basically not pitting at the same time. We got Kazan and Kaczynski also making themselves good favorites. They started 13th and 14th respectively. Meanwhile, let's see what Masha Reza can do to claw his way into basically slower traffic.
Yeah, of course, Azad not scoring any points back in round 1 in Fuji, so this will be a massive change of fortunes if you can hold that off.
Yes, we want to talk about fortunes here. Given that all the other Lexus runners are able to score some points there, we're going to be seeing some basically a shuffle in the championship order. We're going to be seeing as at the very least in the top 10 the championship standings. We may look into him being 7th, 6th, and all that stuff. But whatever it is right now, the top 7 is currently a Lexus party, and we have been heard by the race control and the race directors and essentially wanted that immediate changes will be made before race 2, so we're going to be keeping you updated on what these changes are. Meanwhile, for all of these cars, they're going to be trying to hold on for dear life with these used tires and all that stuff compared to Shazin Reza, who has fresher tires. But look at Kaczynski, he has basically wide exit there, and Shazin Reza is looking to catch him up.
Yeah, Castro is having a wide exit as well, not really getting that good traction, can't really challenge Def Mode, but Shazin Reza are absolutely on this pack now.
Yeah, speaking of all the other drivers there, Mohamed Zohair is 10 seconds back on Kaczynski, Dan Powell is 14 seconds back, and Ariadne there also of just a few seconds back. Basically, we have 4 of these drivers who are going to be trying to make their way into slower traffic there. Alex Bowen, Leo Santini, and Sean Pauly, basically a bit nowhere here at the moment, but they are slowly catching up into Azad. But Azad is actually holding on quite well with 129.3. Oh, it looks like Castro just went just slightly wide there, the Lexus, but meanwhile, we'll be taking a look at the light gap between Kaczynski and Shazin Reza. Let's see what Shazin Reza can do with those fresher tires.
Yeah, we've still got a few Lexus still in the 29s and low 30s, so managing those tires well. Look at the first call. Taking just not close enough to look there, it's not long enough straight to get that slipstream, but yeah, definitely want to possibly take a look around Atwood Curve, get that good exit, get in that slipstream and use that power of the Honda.
Yeah, basically with the Lexus having a power deficit to the Honda, it's basically not as significant as, let's say, Fuji. But look at Kaczynski. Kaczynski's going to try to make a move down the inside of Castro. Oh, hops onto the curb quite violently, and that's going to basically make him vulnerable to Mama Shadreza. He's going to probably make him move down the inside to the hairpin.
Good tucked in there, good top speed. Ooh, going towards the inside now. Hard late braking into the hairpin corner.
Oh yes.
Losing all that, or losing a lot of curb, but keeping it all together. I think they're still side by side. Usually people haven't really been able to seal the move at the hairpin and obviously go side by side at revolving pipe corner, and still going side by side right now.
Yes, very feisty racing between these two drivers there. Kaczynski is on the inside into Redmond. Mama Shadreza is on the outside. Let's see, because the outside line is going to turn into the inside line once again. Shadreza, oh, better traction there. Oh, hops onto the curb, but not as violently as he would hope for. Kaczynski and Shadreza, but Kaczynski is just a nose ahead. They both make contact, and oh, it's a very good save there by Shadreza there. Kaczynski has been trying to make his car the widest car that he could possibly make, and obviously they both make contact, and it's a very, very wonderful sight here. Mama Shadreza trying to make the move into basically Mike Knight corner, got into the door of Kaczynski, lost control, and basically almost lost control there, but what a good save there.
It's a good save, but they're not really doing themselves any favors. They're losing now to the rest of the Lexus pack. Hopefully trying to catch back up, but you're not, as I said, not doing himself any favors here.
Yeah, not doing himself any favors there indeed, and we're going to be taking a look into the intervals there. Mama Zohair is catching up into Mama Shadreza as well. Shadreza is catching up into Kaczynski, but for now he's going to have to tuck in behind. Meanwhile, he's going to be taking a look at some other battles here. Shakib Reza is catching into Alex Grant. Alex Grant is 14 seconds behind Abiazad, who is basically replicating what Shakib Reza had done in Split A of both of these races to basically have a dominant run, but this is more like a race 2 type of performance there for Abiazat, as he basically was not in the lead early on, but due to strategy and basically using the cars behind him as a pick for Shazan Reza, basically a barricade for Azat to score his win and all that stuff. It's basically Lexus teamwork there, but that loophole is going to be shut down after this race, we've been heard, as they're going to be inspecting fuel tanks there for all of these drivers there. Yeah, Abiazat is going to be looking into basically a very, very nice race here. Kaczynski now amps up the pace at 29.7. Shazan Reza with a 29.8. With 28.84 for Mama Zohair. Now Zohair is catching up to Mama Shazan Reza. Let's see how the rest of the race unfolds for all of these drivers.
Yeah, Zohair catching up, and Shazan Reza still not really able to make any progress on these Lexuses. Still just, as you said, that barricade. And Azad dominantly the I think he did himself many favors in qualifying by being the best qualifiers out of all the Lexuses, so with that no-stop strategy, he could just blitz away from the rest of them.
Oh, 3/10 behind Kaczynski, Mama Shazan Reza. Closing to Kaczynski, Mama Shazan Reza. Can he make the dive bomb into the inside there, Mama Shazan Reza? There's going to be a move down the inside. Kaczynski and Shazran hops onto a bit of a curb there violently and aggressively, but not as violently as Santi did back in race 1, where he upset the car too much and basically made the car spin into the inside. But Shazran Reza is going to do the best he can to basically catch Kaczynski. Now Mama Zohair is only under 3 seconds behind Mama's Shazran Reza.
Yeah, just getting a bit unsettled there and a little bit wide into the hairpin there, just not really able to keep it side by side like it was a few laps ago.
Yeah, as we'll be taking a closer look there. Ariadne is also catching up with the Powell. Powell only has 1 point compared to Ariadne's 0, but it looks like they're also catching up into the rest of the pack there. We're going to be taking a look into basically the live gas between Shazan Reza and Raja Kaczynski. It's currently 5.86 for Kaczynski, Shazan Reza 130.5. Well, if he wants to make the move right now, he'll have to make the move immediately, and we're actually going to be seeing some bit of damage there on the front end of Shazran's car. That is going to basically limit the ability of the front end, as we may be seeing a good amount of understeer. Ooh, Kaczynski is going to be quite aggressive there on the inside of Castro, and they're nearly side by side. They're exiting Atwood curve. They are also going to be side by side. Now they're not going to do both of these drivers any favors. Mama Shazran Reza has the outside line, Kaczynski has the inside. Let's see what both of these drivers are gonna what these drivers are going to do. Kaczynski now basically makes a dive bomb down the inside. Mama Shazran Reza is also down the inside into the hairpin. But it looks like both of these drivers are also going to be side by side into Revolver and into Piper as well. And it looks like Mama Zohair is now edging ever so closer into both of these drivers. On board with Mama Shazran Reza, we're about to see a best view of the battle possible there. Meanwhile, Kaczynski, it's going now back. Remember when I said it wasn't a 3-car battle? Now it's actually a 4-car battle. Raijin, Kaczynski, and we got Castro still side by side there, but it looks like Castro will have the slight edge into Mike now into the final turn. But Kaczynski is going to be well under pressure from Mama Shazran Reza, and Mama Zohair is now not far behind.
See that Lexus barricade starting to disintegrate now. The Lexus is starting to spread out from one another. We've got the Hondas and Nissans in the main pack catching up.
Yeah, and Dan Powell and Gabriel Ariadne also catching up as well. Mama Zohair only set a 130 for both of these drivers. Dan Powell and Ariadne set a 129. They're catching basically the pack here in a battle for 6 there. 1 second between these drivers. If none of these drivers basically make the move as soon as possible, we could be seeing a 6-car battle there at the end of the race, with Abi Azad, Alex Grant, and Shaki Reza taking an easy Lexus 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we can safely say that the possibly the top 5 place getters are mainly sorted out there. I don't think there's going to be catching up anytime soon, but the mid pack and towards the tail end of the points, it's all to play for.
That's all to play for, yeah. And meanwhile, we're taking a look at this. He just went just a little bit wide, and looks like here's another Honda Civil War there. It's going to be Wolf versus Rabbit once again. Okayama versus Sonic Pecora. Look at Mama Zohair down the inside. Mama Zohair is exiting basically Piper and into Redmond. Mama Zohair has the inside line into Redmond, but that's going to be the outside line into Hobbs, who's going to have the better traction into Hobbs. Shazran Reza has the inside line. They're still side by side, exiting Hobbs. Oh, they're still alongside there, but Muhammad Zohair has the nose up, and it's going to be Muhammad Zohair being the best Honda there in Split B at the moment.
It seems to be a theme this race with infights in between the manufacturers. You got Lexus fighting each other, Hondas fighting each other. We haven't really seen any Nissans fight each other that much this race.
But we may be seeing 1-2 with Dan Powell and Gabriel Ariadne, top 2 in the championship battle here, but with Mohammad Shakir Reza in 3rd place right now, he may be able to displace Dan Powell for 2nd in the championship standings, while Gabriel Ariadne will still hold on to his 175 points in the championship lead. Meanwhile, Muhammad Zohair is going to be the next in line to challenge Kaczynski and Castro, trying to basically break through the Lexus barricade from positions 1 to 7, as we're now at lap 21 of race 1.
Yeah, one side not taking over. See Bowen doing a 29.4. Unfortunately, 30 seconds away from Ariadne. Just that second pit stop, just basically throwing away the race, throwing away that pole. It could have been so much better.
Yeah, it could have been so much better there from Alex Bowen there. Basically, another strategy blunder for those for those 4 drivers there. Meanwhile, it's going to be taking a look into some of the other drivers here. Muhammad Zohair has actually closed up quite significantly to basically Raja Kaczynski. He's now only 5/10 behind the Indian there, representing the number 74 Yuzuki Choco Lexus. Now, maybe this is what the Choco Sense, the assistance for Choco Sense is about, as Muhammad Zohair is only 5/10 behind Kaczynski. Not far back, a bit too far back to actually try to make the dive bomb into Kaczynski into turn 1. But let's be honest, if he does make the dive bomb, it would have been very popular, as it would have been resulting in both drivers being bent up due to basically both of them suffering damage.
Yeah, we've seen a few aggressive moves here that haven't really exactly paid off, just more damage and just like mounting the curb and nearly. Oh, speaking of dives, going for one here on Kaczynski, and again, just not working out. Can't really get that traction on the exit.
And speaking of poor traction on the exit, now Muhammad Zohair is under pressure from Muhammad Shakir Reza. Shakir Reza is only 3/10 behind. It's going to be 2/10, but it's going to be a bit too far back for Shakir to make the move into the hairpin there. None of these Hondas are going to be making themselves any favors. None of them are doing some favors to each other. No teamwork between the Hondas there. The Lexus are basically going to run away with what's basically a very, very good performance for the Toyota team there. Now let's talk about Lexus a bit. Remember, Lexus is actually essentially a Toyota team, because Lexus is basically a luxury car brand of the car brand subsidiary of Toyota. And we're going to be taking a look into some of the other drivers here. Beazat still holding on to the 50-second lead over Alex Grant. Shakir Reza is in 3rd place. Cal Gibbons is in 4th. He's going to do himself a lot of favors as well. He's going to probably go up to, I think, 5th in the championship standings there. Philip Dev obviously holding on to 5th as well. Another consistent run from the Croatian there. Miguel Castro in 6th. He's going to be looking to basically jump up from the bottom 5 as well. Raja Kaczynski. Yeah, Raja Kaczynski is going to try to hold on to 7 as rapid as he could. And here comes another dive bomb there from Muhammad Zohair. Oh! This time he loses it entirely. Muhammad Zohair takes a lot of curve way too aggressively, and he's going to lose out to Muhammad Shakir Reza. And now, basically, the battle is over between Kaczynski and Zohair. Kaczynski is playing a lot of mind games there to Muhammad Zohair, basically making sure to get into Zohair's nerves as much as he can. And unfortunately, the nerves has gotten into Muhammad Zohair as he tries to make the aggressive dive bomb into Atwood. That didn't work out for him. He basically hopped on into the curves, unsettled the car, spun the car, and now he's out of contention battling Kaczynski. Let's see what Muhammad Shakir Reza can do.
Yeah, with that mistake, that's going to bring Zohair and Powell into this battle, and Ariadne as well for the last of the points paying positions.
Meanwhile, it's going to be taking a look into the progression chart. Beazat still gains 5 positions. Alex Grant gains 8 positions there for his 2nd podium of the season. Actually, 2nd podium in a row there. He actually got a podium in race 2. Shakir Reza is also looking to score his 2nd podium of the season. Cal Gibbons is going to bounce back from basically a non-points and a 4th with another 4th place finish. Phil Dev from last to 5th. Very good job from the Croatian Big Castro. Right, because they gained 7 positions. They basically Lexus teamwork there in motion here.
Yeah, just an absolute dominant performance from them. Obviously, the other teams probably won't be too happy about that. Honda and Nissan probably knocking the door of race control about Lexus fuel tank, as you said, to be inspected after the race.
Meanwhile, Mohammed Reza is going to try his best to catch Rajan Kaczynski there. He's only a second behind Rajan. But meanwhile, we're taking a look there between the live gas. Ariadne and Powell are still keeping themselves honest there. Ariadne is only 5/10 behind Powell there, but it looks like it's going to be done and dusted for all these car manufacturers there, as we'll be seeing. Basically, the race 1 come to its closing stages.
Yeah, it's a bit different for what we saw in Split A. Usually the Lexus will, the last time in Split A, the Lexus took up the top 5 positions, but were obviously swamped by those refresher tyres and the great race pace efforts of the Lexus. But this time, with the improved pace, they're more able to hold their position.
As we finished 24 laps already, we're in lap 25 of race 1 in round 2 here in Okayama, the 2022 Hololive GT3 Japan Series Split B. Shadowreza has caught up to Kaczynski just a little bit. Let's see if Muhammad Shadowreza could disrupt the Lexus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, similar to how I believe Audi did it with BMW in the 1982 Le Mans.
Yeah, just not close enough there to make a move again. I think there's a theme of going through Adak curve and trying to get a good exit at slipstream, but based on the track record previously, everyone seems to want to go for a dive on that wood and just ruin their traction on the exit.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be different this time for Muhammad Shadowreza. He's going to be trying to have trying to forego Atwood for the exit of Atwood, but at this point Muhammad Shadowreza is only 4/10 behind, but is actually closing in just a little bit into Kaczynski. Meanwhile, Kaczynski is actually closing into Castro. We could be seeing a move there by Kaczynski down the inside. Again, it's going to be another Lexus Civil War, but it looks like Kaczynski is going to have this move sorted out. But Castro is still within a car length or two, actually half a car length between those two drivers. They're going to distract themselves from the fact that Shadowreza and Muhammad Zohar have actually caught themselves back up again. As that starts lap 26, into the inside there. Castro takes a lot of curb there, the Chilean. And also, hops onto the curb there. Kaczynski is going to be a Lexus Honda there into the final 2 laps of this race. Yeah, still keep it clean, no contact there side by side, but Kaczynski now under pressure now from Shadza and Redza onto this front straight. Possibly going to have a look into the first corner. Gaps right now is 3/10, so in that slipstream, using that top end power, but just not close enough. Maybe if a late dive, no, not quite. Yeah, not quite there. We're going to be taking a look into this belt for just a little bit longer before when the final lap starts. We're going to be looking into Abe Azad. Meanwhile, Castro and Kaczynski are a little bit battling each other. Look at Kaczynski. Is definitely ambitious there, trying to make a move down the inside. No move down the inside. Atwood, they have all learned their lesson to not make the move as early as that. Focus on the exit. And as of right now, Shadowreza has a very good exit there compared to Kaczynski there. Obviously, with the slipstream, Kaczynski is looking to pressurize Castro. We could be seeing a dive bomb down the inside into the hairpin. Oh, yes, we could be seeing a dive bomb down the hairpin again. Kaczynski trying to make a move. A bit of a lock up there in the tires there on the right side for Kaczynski. Still side by side there. As we're about to start the final lap of the race there, Azad basically has a 16-second gap over Alex Grant. And obviously they're still fighting side by side. We're going to be updating you guys on the battle later. It's going to be very feisty between those two drivers there. Kaczynski busy trading blows between both of these drivers. It's still very clean there. We don't know who's going to come out on top.
And surprisingly very clean. I would have expected a few, blown up cars by now, and maybe I almost jinxed it, but good save there. Still side by side into the final corner. We don't usually see that. And he might have just finished off the move there.
Well, it's going to be very feisty there, and it looks like the Nissan are also joining in on the party as well. Zohar and Shadowreza are side by side onto turn 1 there. Side by side, and it's going between the two drivers there. Zohar takes too much of the curve and basically damages Shadowreza in the process, and now Zohar's now under pressure for Ariadne.
Just very clumsy there, of course we said those team civil wars. It's just, you just don't want that. Your first rule of racing is you don't hit your teammates.
Yeah, it's going to be very detrimental for those two drivers. We're going to be taking a look to all the other drivers. Philip Def is holding on to 5th quite well. Gibbons in 4th as well. Shaka Reza holding on quite well third and second. But Abiaza, here it is. The winner of the day, Abiaza, is looking to score his first points in the best way possible, representing the Vampire. Yozora Mel in the number 66 Lexus. Abiaza is going to take the checkered flag as the winner here in Okayama. And meanwhile, we're going to be taking a little look into the battle there between these drivers there. Kaczynski has pulled away from Castro. Castro actually has a struggling race pace there. And we'll see how this battle ends in this final lap of the race.
Yeah, possibly just a bit of damage from all those battles there and just trying to hold off, just try and maintain position. I think it's just accepted that, you know, Kaczynski's going to go away, so just want to hold off on this moment.
And right now, Alex Grant has grabbed second place. Shaki Reza also grabs third. Both of them has got their second podium in the whole GT3 series for Split B. Meanwhile, Count gives a good run for fourth, going down to across the line. Who is going to edge ahead? Castro edges ahead of Shaki Reza. Oh, that's a very close finish there between those two drivers there. Oh, and it takes a lot of good for good measure. Shadrin knows that he has this race to lose, and obviously this is his race to lose. As does Kizuhara Leo, Alex Bowen, and all that stuff. Obviously, we'll be seeing some amazing racing there between all of these drivers there.
Just a very interesting performance from Lexus there, and oh, just a bit of post-race. Some interesting post-race antics there.
Yeah, there's some interesting post-race antics there. Shadrin Reza not feeling very happy at all with what he has at the moment there, and obviously tries to make vicious moves there way too early and at the wrong place. Obviously, yeah, Abiaza, here's your race winner there. He basically redeems his Fuji woes in style. Good job from the Malaysian.
Yeah, and a good job for the rest of the Lexus team as well. They're much better race pace and adopting that no stop, but we won't expect the same for the next race.
Yeah, as we're going to be taking a look into the race result first. We're going to be taking a look into the race results for round 2, race 1 for Split B of the 2022 Hololive GT3 Japan Series. It's basically a Lexus party of from 1st to 7th. It's basically just Lexus cars. Abiaza takes the honors of being the race 1 winner here in Okayama. Alex Grant finishes 2nd. Good job from the American there. Shaki Reza scores a respectable 3rd place. Good job from him as well. Callum Gibbons scores his 2nd consecutive 4th place finish, and Philip Deff in 5th place. Not bad from him as well. He's shown to be very consistent there in the races there. Raja Kaczynski is also doing himself a lot of favors. That possible help from Choco Sensei has come into clutch for the Indian there. He finishes 6th. Miguel Castro has basically also done well. Basically the weakest link out of all the Lexus cars out there, but still a very respectable 7th place. Muhammad Reza scores 8th, pretty okay there for the Malaysian there. Muhammad Zohair scores a 9th, and Gabriel Ariadne actually manages to pull away from Dan Powell by almost only just 1 point. He manages to pull away nonetheless. And speaking of those who haven't scored points, Dan Powell is basically the last driver of those who only did 1 stop. He's in 11th, and 12 on back are those drivers who basically miscalculated on their fuel strategies and basically paid them dearly, as they had to make their 2nd stops. Alex Bowen in 12th, Kizuhara Leo 13th, Santini 14th, and Sean Polly in 15th. But we're going to be taking a look into the replay. The replay is actually the one thing that's actually very interesting there. First of all, we're going to be taking a look into the lap 26 battle there between Muhammad Shadrin Reza and Muhammad Zohair on the final lap. And as you can probably see, we're going to be scrolling over to some of the basically all that stuff. Hang on. Here's the replay there. Muhammad Shadrin Reza and Muhammad Zohair. Muhammad Zohair hops onto the curbs way too much there. Sells the car and basically slammed into the right side of Shadrin. That probably didn't do himself any favors if he wanted to catch Miguel Castro there, as we're going to be taking a look into the onboard shot of basically Muhammad Zohair. And here's the onboard from the number 11 Honda. As you can see, has a very good traction there. off the final turn into turn 1. Down the inside, he tries to make a move. Obstacle coach just way bit too much, went on 2 wheels there, and basically hit Shazin Reza head on just like that. That's one of the few moves out there that we may want to take a look. But also, we also wanted to take a look into Muhammad Zohair's antics while basically here is one of the few moves I also wanted to talk about. We don't want to be way too aggressive into Atwood, because if you drive down here, take the inside line way too much, you basically half spun your car. And actually it's a full spin there from Muhammad Zohair, and that didn't do himself any favors there. And that is basically that's basically the race replays that we want to show you guys for race 1, as we're going to be taking a look into the championship order as of 3 races complete. So before that, Gibbo, you want to share your thoughts about race 1?
Yeah, some very aggressive moves when the Hondas and Nissans trying to overtake that Lexus gain, just absolutely barricading themselves, and obviously some Lexus battles in there as well, but just an absolute dominance from the Toyota brand.
Yeah, for the Toyota brand, it's been very dominant for them as well, as we're going to be taking a look into the updated championship standings for after 3 races in the 2022 Hololive GT3 Japan Series. First of all, we're going to be taking a look into Gabriel Ariadne, still holding on to a sliver of points in position there. It's basically a Gen 1-1-2 with 176 points for Ariadne, 155 points for Shakeup Reza. Grant has 130 points. Basically, he also scored a decent amount of points for that race as well. Dan Powell drops from 2nd to 4th in the number 20. Abiyaza, with his win, basically propels himself from last to 5th in the championship standings. Caleb Gibbons is also doing himself very solidly. He holds on to 6th. Philip Deff is also holding on very solidly in 7th. Sean Paul has dropped from 4th to 8th. Raji Kaczynski has now moved up into the top 10. Basically from 12th place now up to 9th. Very good job from the Indian. Kizuhara Leo in the number 40 motorcycle Shion Honda went from 8th to 10th. And obviously, due to the strategy blunders for the Honda and the Nissan, Santini and Momozu have now fallen into the bottom 5. Miguel Castro has also done himself a favor to jump up from 14th to 13th. Meanwhile, Muhammad Shadi Reza and Alex Bowen got shuffled back down 1 position, basically. Muhammad Shadi Reza scores 2 points ahead, basically, compared to Alex Bowen, who basically scored no points. And that will mean that for basically at this point, all 30 cars in the Hololive GT3 Japan Series have been known to score some points, as we're going to be doing some pre-race adjustments for race 2. Gibbo, who do you think is the driver of the day for the race 1?
I think we'd have to go to definitely the race winning FRS. Like absolute good performance in the Lexus for qualifying and just holding on to that position with that no-stop strategy.
Yeah, it's what you call it, it's called actually quite dominant. Remember when I said you have to be in it to win it, in order for you to basically win these races, and basically that is what Azad had done to basically put himself in a position to win. Basically, the Lexus has tried again with the fuel basically with the fuel limit and all that stuff, and because of that, he manages to place himself in a very, very good position with all the Lexus drivers not pitting as well. They are basically doing like the team game for the Toyota team, basically, to basically seal off an easy Lexus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But for race 2, it's going to be very, very different, as we have heard news from Race Control that they are once again shutting off this loophole once again for the Lexus for the for race 2 of Split B in the Hololive GT3 Japan Series. Obviously, they have fared better than their Split A counterparts. Although it's mostly the same drivers who are participating in both splits, by the way. We're going to be skipping over to qualifying, and just to give you guys a bit of update on basically what the change is that they'll let the results stand to make sure basically make sure that there was no unfair protest and all that stuff. The race happened, we just want to deal with it and all that stuff, and basically that's that for all the drivers. But the Toyota extra fuel loophole has been shut off once again. as we're going to be transitioning over into the next session, which is race 2 qualifying. Just a bit of a load here, and here it is. Here's the first driver to basically get out on track. Mohamed Reza is the sole driver to basically be out here. Actually, we know what? Sean Paul is also the next one to get out on track. So, given the championship permutations here at the moment, the Nissans and Hondas are looking to basically get some revenge in basically race 2. So I expect the Nissan and Honda to basically give the Lexus a serious fight back now that the loophole has been shut down way hard.
Yeah, you hopefully be expecting a better qualifying performance for the Lexus this time around. Still around midfield towards the back, even with that improved race pace, but now that loophole's been shut out, they can't just rely on that strategy, so they need a good qualifying as well.
Yes, we'll be taking a look into some of the other drivers here. The other drivers are going to be trying to make a turnaround. Sean Pauli and especially Alex Bowen. Alex Bowen is currently sitting last in the driver's standings. Obviously, he wants to show. Obviously, he also wants to basically. She wants to basically leave her mark, representing Minato Aqua in Split B. Now, Alex Bowen has had her work cut out with the 3 previous races here in Okayama. Let's see what Alex Bowen could do in this race this time by, as we're going to go on board with Alex Bowen. This time I'll be taking over the commentary here. Now obviously you want to prepare a lap in Okayama, get your tires warmed up, get your brakes warmed up, and get your engines warmed up as well, as you're about to approach the final 2 turns here, Light Night and the final corner there. Make sure you have the best exit possible for both of these corners, as you have a 600-meter long straight awaiting you. So basically into the main straight there, you can basically look Game says, take a cup of coffee, take a chill pill, but at the just after the billboard, brake into turn 1. Basically clip the curb, you can hear the sound of the curb on the inside, and basically don't take it too much to the outside into Williams, as you want to take the inside line, carry that momentum and speed, get that arc going, exiting Williams into the Moss S, flat out there. Also take the curb, it's a bit friendly here as well, into the 100-meter board, into Atwood curve. You really don't want to take a lot of these curves, as what Mohamed Zohar has proven. Good exit there into exiting Atwood, into the 700-meter long straight uphill, into the basically hairpin. Like again, take a chill pill or 2, take a coffee or 2, brake into the 100-meter board, very aggressive braking into the hairpin, and obviously down the inside and into Revolver and Piper. Revolver is a very tricky corner as it's off cambered. Piper as well, and also very good there. Piper, as you're about to finish sector 2, only 6/10 behind Alex Grant's provisional pole time. Redmond, okay, pretty decent there for Redmond and Hobbs there. Take it clean and easy. You may want to take it first or second gear for those 2 corners. Into Mike Knight, into the final turn. And into the final turn, we get a good exit there. Prepare for that 600-meter long main straight. Okay, and that is a lap here in Okayama, and we're gonna go back outboard Alex Bowen. Let's see what she can do. 129.73, pretty decent.
What's also pretty decent, the top 2 are only 2,000 separating Grant on pole for 28.827 against Polly's 0.829.
Which is actually very nice to see. It's nice to see a good amount of parity there. Now the Lexus is going to be fighting against the Nissan, as Ariadne sets the new benchmark 128.585. Very good lap from the Brazilian.
Yeah, we're seeing with these later in the day with the second race, we're seeing those lower track temperatures and those the track's more rubbered in, so we're expecting to see faster qualifying times.
Speaking of faster qualifying times, what can Gizra Leo do? He currently sets himself 5th. Mohamed Zohar sets himself 5th as well, bumps Leo down to 6th. Sheldon Reza had a sub-4 qualifying session, this time he's now down to 7th. Gibbons had a very good qualifying lap as well, only 2/10 behind Ariadne, Alex Grant as well, and Shakib Reza too.
Yeah, very good showing from the Lexus this time around, taking the 3 of the top 5 positions, and hopefully with that, without that close fuel loop, you know, good race pace on that low fuel load.
Yeah, very good fuel load there for all these cars out there. Miguel Castro with 129.1. And that's all drivers crossing the line here for their laps. Let's see what Sean Paul can do to improve on his lap time. 125, 126, 127, 128. Oh, it's now a Nissan front row there. It's a deja vu from what we have seen in Fuji Race 2 back in Race 2's in Split B back in Fuji.
We got a little bit of a Lexus party happening again, taking positions 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 provisionally, with Castro and Kaczynski the outliers. Unfortunately, Bowen of Def improved into 3rd place with a 28.749. Bowen sitting in last at the moment, so very much a reversal of fortunes in the first qualifying session.
But maybe, yes, we may be seeing a reversal of fortunes, but who knows, Alex Bowen, she might end up having the best car for the race. I mean, due to maybe strategy or maybe just pure pace alone. We can see if Kizuhara Leo could basically improve his lap time, improves as well. He's not the fastest Honda, and actually no, Mama Zohair is the fastest Honda, 128.7, very good lap.
Yeah, a bit more. Yuri also improves 120.706, so it was all shuffling around in this final minute of qualifying. Shakeup Redza now into 3rd as well.
Very good lap there from the young Malaysian there. He's only 110 behind, and we can see the track really ramping up there on the final stages of qualifying there. It's all to play for anyone who can set that lap times very late into the session. Let's see what Miguel Castro can do. 26, 27, 28 across the line. Doesn't improve, but whatever it is, the track is ramping up quite significantly there.
Yeah, only 3/10 covering the top 10, so any like 100th or even 1,000th of a second you can get is vital.
Yeah, those who want vital bit of qualifying, Alex Bowen. Let's see. Oh, bumps Kaczynski down to 15 as Kaczynski peels into the pit. That's qualifying over for the Indian. Let's see what Phil Def can do as the qualifying basically concludes. 128.7 for Philip Def. And for Ariadne, he improves 128.51. Very good lap from the Brazilian as well. Dan Powell sets a 130.1. Not how he wanted to hold on into the top 5 of the championship positions. Let's see what Kizuhara Leo can do. 128, 18, 19, 20. It was a better lap there compared to his contemporaries there. But pay attention to Mama Zohair as well. But first of all, we're going to be taking a look into Leo. Doesn't improve. And let's see what Zohair can do. Is only 5th. Shakib Reza and Alex Grant about to cross the line. Grant does not improve. Shadrin Reza doesn't improve either. And then Abi Azad is currently in 6th place. What can he do to bump the 5 drivers down? Still hold on to 6. Mohammad Shadrin Reza has finished his qualifying lap there. And basically, he's going to qualify 9th. We have 3 cars left there. And there is one of the other cars, Castro. And then after Castro, it's going to be Polly. And it looks like Alex Bowen has peeled into the pit lanes. That's qualifying over there. And that is going to be a Nissan front row as Alex Bowen has been confirmed to peel into the pit lanes. That's qualifying over. As we're going to be waiting for the qualifying session to end. And there is going to be confirmation. Yeah, qualifying over. And we're going to be taking a look into the starting grid for all of these drivers there for race 2. And let's look into the grid here at the moment. And Sean Pauli, I believe, has set his 3rd pole position of Split B on basically here in the Hololive GT3 Japan series. He currently starts on the pole. Gabriel Ariadne is currently on pole. Sean Pauli is in 2nd. Shakir Reza holds on to 3rd quite well, with Cal Gibbons in 4th. The best Honda at outright, and Muhammad Zohair is currently in 5th. Abi Azad, previous race winners in 6th. What can he do from back here? Philip Def consistently in the 5th to 8th range. Not bad from the Croatian. Alex Rand in 8th. Muhammad Shadrin Reza is in 9th. Kizuhara Leo in 10th. Santini is in 11th. Miguel Castro 12th. Dan Powell 13th. Alex Bowen 14th. Especially for Alex Bowen, she needs to basically step up the game if she wants to have a good chance for points there and basically get out of last in the championship standings. As for Ryan Kaczynski, his qualifying is pretty decent, but decent is not good enough as he's now in 15th. Now, Gibbo, can we share your thoughts about the qualifying order before race 2 starts?
Yeah, so qualifying compared to split A and B, like the Lexus really showing it up this time around. I realized that they can't really adopt their no-stop strategy this time around, so they really put it all into qualifying. Yeah,
but they're gonna need to pour as much as they can to qualify, and it shows that with the Lexus cars being 3rd and 4th in the this race here, as we're about to get the race underway. Here are the cars lined up, 15 cars, 5 red lights lighting up, and we're about to race here. Wait for it. Yes, we're racing here in Okayama. And like I said there, with the two Lexus there up in front there, they are going to probably hold on to the position as well. But look at Gibbo. Gibbo's going to try to move down the inside of multiple other drivers there. Shakir Reza is going to try to challenge Sean Pauly for third, but second. But looks like he has put himself out of position there. We'll be seeing a lot of shuffling from other drivers. There's a Honda Civil War there. Gizarlio just went just slightly wide there. We'll be seeing a lot of these drivers there. Ariadne and Pauly. He's going to lead second and basically make him a Nissan 1-2. Shakib Reza and Count Gibbons there battling each other for basically third and fourth. As Grand Abi Azar now been shuffling from positions as well. And it's still side by side there, these two drivers there. And Mosaic in 5th, Grant in 6th, Abiaz at 7th, Philip Dev 8th, Shadid Reza and Kizuharu Leo is going to be fighting for the final points, the final 2 points main position. And look at Leo down the inside.
Oh, that curve still keeping the car nice and still, so side by side into Revolver corner. Still side by side, not really wanting to yield to the holders, not really giving each other any room. And also Bowen now up to 11th as well, so a good start there and really back up to the points.
But unfortunately, with that start, with that amount of aggressiveness, trying to make up a lot of lost ground there. Look at the amount of damage there on the front end.
Yeah, so obviously possibly rear-ended someone into one of the big braking zones, so not going to do any favours to that front aero. And as you can see, again a bit unsettled there into the penultimate corner, so obviously we've got that nice aero damage there, getting a bit of instability.
It looks like Alex Bowen has had an incident with Dan Powell and Raja Kaczynski, who have also had damage as well. That's not going to do themselves any favors. Meanwhile, Shakib Reza is actually catching on to Sean Pauly. That means we're going to be seeing a battle the next few laps or so.
Yeah, top two just slowly breaking around now. Ariadne now with an almost 2-second gap, and Pauly just under pressure now from Shakib Reza. So Ariadne capitalizing on these early battles.
Yeah, speaking of early battles, there look at Mama Shakib Reza trying to make up, trying to defend from Cal Gibbons, who has had a very stellar run there off of Atwood, and into the hairpin they go. Gibbons has the inside line, into the inside line, the number 18 IMA Lexus goes into the inside, but it's going to turn to the outside. Shakib Reza will have the advantage in the number 64 Roboco Lexus, hops on into the curbs there, Mama Shakib Reza, and that is going to mean that Shakib Reza is going to hold on into the final point in position.
Outside round corner hasn't really worked out, is now under pressure from the Honda as it goes for a dive into the hairpin. Still keeping it tidy there, still side by side, but nearly onto Lexus on 2 wheels there, and not really working out in terms of that defense. Already now back down to 5th.
Yes, there's some really fighting racing there, but look at Alex Grant trying to make a move into Count Gibbons. Oh, looks like there's going to be a battle. Gibbons has a very poor exit on the final turn, and now he's going to be under pressure from Azad.
So terrible lap there, just went for that first move. The hairpin corner was just absolutely compromised. The rest of the lap just absolutely losing it everywhere. Nearly contact there, still keep it mostly clean side by side, still just holding on to 6.
Yeah, and we're going to be taking a look into basically the progress chart. Let's see who has gained the most. Alex Bowen gained a lot of positions from 14th to 11th. Meanwhile, Azza is making a move into Philip Dev. Oh, takes a lot of curve there. That's going to compromise his exit there, and it's going to be a huge Lexus Nissan Honda battle. Looks like Mama Shadid Reza is really catching up into Azad, and Kizar Leo's not far behind.
Yeah, I still haven't really saw that in dirt room there. They're still trying to jostle for the early positions in their first few laps. Leo taking around the outside. Still side by side even into Revolver. It's a bit of a theme here. No one can really seem to settle the move onto the hairpin, so it just keeps on going and going.
Yeah, keeps on going indeed. As we're going to talk about the gainers there. Alex Grant gains 3 positions. Mohamed Zohair has gained 1 position, by the way. And we're going to be commentating on the battle there between the 2 Malaysians there, Kizuhara Leo and Mohamed Shazin Reza. We're going to be taking a look there into the inside there. Shazin Reza, don't take too much of the curve there, Shazin Reza. Ooh, on side by side there for both of these drivers, and it looks like it's Leo's corner. That means Leo is going to hold on to 9th. Meanwhile, Alex Bowen's not far behind. The commentator battle is actually going to continue here.
Yeah, like Bowen really getting to that battle now. Still got that front end damage, of course, and probably won't get repaired until the pit stop. So may not be much room to go for the aggressive move, but at least maybe pressure the guy in front into a mistake.
Yep. Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look at some of the other battles that Azza has made. We're going to be looking to make the move there on Philip Def. They're side by side there into the Mosses S and into the Atwood curves there. Azza has the inside line. Hold on to the inside. Don't take too much of the curve. Oh, tram lining the curbs there. Azad, let's see if he can have the better exit there. And that is going to mean that both of these Hondas are going to be compromising themselves with Kizuhara, Leo, and Shazan Reza, and Alex Bowen not far behind.
Taking too much of that curb there, it never seems to work out for anyone trying to go to that inside line, just gets poor traction out the exit, but still keeping it together into the hairpin, into Revolver corner, still side by side. But with that battling, of course, now the Honda now of Leo is getting into it as well.
What we're going to be seeing here is a bit of we're seeing a huge battle there for basically 7th place there. Devin Azad trading blows there into the 3rd sector there. Basically, 7 on back is actually going to be really fighting for position. Look at Alex Bowen there, trying to make a move into Momachan and Rizza there. And look at this, there's 2 battles simultaneously happening side by side. There's almost contact there between the 2 Lexus cars. And it looks like Alex Bowen has made a move onto Momachan and Rizza. Alex Bowen's going to try to make a statement. She's now back in the point position. And now Alex Bowen is down the inside.
Oh, just absolutely a lot of action here. It's just too much to keep up with. We got Lexus action, we got Honda, and this, and actually everyone's getting involved.
Everyone's getting involved from basically 7th on back there. Leo has the inside line into the Williams corner. Takes a lot of curb there. The number 40 Murasaki Shion Honda is Akushino here. It's Minato Aqua and Murasaki Shion battling for race position there. But it looks like Leo's going to have the advantage there into Atwood curve. And we're about to finish sector 1 there into sector 2. Let's see who has the better traction there between the 2 drivers there. It looks like the battle has held just a little bit. But look at Mohamed Zohair there trying to make a move into Momashaki Reza.
Bowen now back up into the points where that jostling will really want to make her way up. Only scoring 5 points last round, so we want to get up there for the championship standings.
Yeah, as we're going to be taking a look into the strategy here. The first guys to beat will be Philip Def and Muhammad Shakib Reza. They were currently topping up lightweight here, but have learned the lessons of what Alex Bowen, Kizuhara, Leo, Sandy D, and those who have basically put in way too less fuel early, basically at the start of the race. They're looking to basically top up just a little bit more fuel so that they could make the undercut strategy work even better for them.
As you're looking at the field, we can see 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and even 6th, like getting into a little bit of a pack there. So Sahar, Grant, and Gibbo currently doing times like low 30s. Gibbo with a 29.7, so looking to make his way up after that poor earliest laps there.
Yeah, he's looking to make a turnaround there. Azad has a very fast lap that sets his personal best. Meanwhile, Alex Grant is actually not far behind from Mama Zohar, who's actually losing ground to Shakib Reza there. Meanwhile, Shakib Reza is going to try to make a move into Sean Pauly. Sean Pauly is basically holding up the rest of the pack to make sure Ariadne has a really easy going win there, as Ariadne is going to be taking a look into scoring his 2nd win of the in Split B.
The roads are just a bit wide on Apple curve, doesn't really have the exit traction, can't really get close enough to make a move, so just has to tuck in and just keep on going.
Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into the back of the pack there. Philip Depp and Harley are going to be getting into a tangle. Alex Bowen and Momocha Reza is also getting into a tangle as well. Ooh, a bit of wide there goes Sandy D. Dan Powell's going to try to make a statement as well, but no, what statement can he make if he's not in the points there? Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look at some of the other drivers there. Meanwhile, speaking of fuel strategy, Raja Kaczynski is actually going to be the first driver to pit for fuel, but at this early of a stage in this race, we're actually gonna be paying attention into how much fuel Kaczynski is going to top up.
Yeah, obviously the aim is to have that one-stop strategy. Obviously that fuel loophole closed, you can't do a no-stop, so that one-stop is the favourite strategy. We did see before in race 1 how two-stop is definitely not favourable, so pitting this early may need to do a bit of fuel saving.
Maybe he may need to do some fuel saving there, but I probably doubt with the AI here it's going to be possible there. Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into Alex right now. He's going to be way close into Mama Zohair there. 2/10 behind the Honda there. Alex Grant tried to go for the wide exit. Doesn't really work there. He's basically lost 2/10 there, Alex Grant. Mama Zohair is going to have some breathing room.
really there's a bit of a theme here of drivers just not really able to set themselves up into AdWorld, just trying to go for that aggressive move early on, but they just compromise their exit and they just lose that advantage they had.
And we have confirmation that Rajesh Kaczynski is going to feel himself up into the end of the race. He's going to try to make the undercut work, basically, for the young Indian. And meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into some of the other drivers here. Alex Bowen is basically keeping everyone in check. Everyone's going single file. Philip Deff is basically losing touch into Abe Azad, previous race winner there. But Gizar is going to be looking to making a pounce.
Yeah, it's looking like the field has now finally settled down after the first few laps, really jostling for positions early on, but now we're getting to this phase of the race where strategy is coming into play. So get the head down, get into a good rhythm, and try not to make any mistakes, and just get through the strategy and hope for a good second stint.
Okay, let's talk about some of the few facts here. Kaczynski has been battling, is looking to battle Castro at least there for basically the silver spoon there for this race there. But looking at the gaps there, the gaps have opened up between Castro and Kaczynski. But if we look into Castro's pit window, because Castro is going to pit in the next 2 or 3 laps or so. That means we might be seeing Kaczynski clawing that gap back in between Kaczynski and Castro's pit stops. But I doubt there's going to be anything good here. But you know, with the Nissan having a superior straight line speed, the Hondas and Nissans are going to be struggling to actually catch them on the back straight. Meanwhile, Kizara Leo is actually getting quite close there to Philip Deff, but not close enough to make a move down the inside. And actually going to be scrolling into the other drivers there, actually. No battles here at the moment. Shakif Reza is holding on to 3rd place. Very good race there for the young Malaysian there. Alex Ren is also getting quite close into here. Gibbo and Azad are looking to be quite close into each other. They're going to be in it to win it, basically, for all these drivers there. Meanwhile, Feldev is only going to try to hold off Leo quite well. Alex Bowen just went slightly wide. Is going to open the door for Southern to try to make a move.
Yeah, I think Bowen's still slightly compromised by that front end arrow, now going into the pits, hopefully repairing that damage from early on.
And the next driver to make the pit stops, Shakif Reza, Philip Deff, Alex Bowen, and Dan Powell. And so seeing some inside battles there. Santini and Mohammad Shadi Reza down the inside into turn 1. Santini has the inside line, but Shadi Reza is going to use the outside. Oh, Santini takes way too much curve, unsells the car, and is now under pressure from Miguel Castro.
I'm surprised the suspension is still intact. Like we've seen at Fuji, how you mount the curb and you nearly roll over and destroy your suspension, but that must be some well-built suspension there. It's still intact, still racing. Yeah,
still racing there. For Santini, but let's also talk about how it's the Lexus and Honda and all that stuff, and both of these suspensions work with different philosophies and all that stuff. And meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into the other live gaps there. Maybe seeing a battle for 3rd between Grant and Zuhair. Azad and Gebo may be battling for 5th place. Meanwhile, Kaczynski has just made the pass on Alex Bowen with the undercut strategy. The undercut strategy actually worked there for the young Indian, but of course Alex Bowen has to repair the front end damage that she has sustained early on in the race, but that's not going to do much favors for the number 9 car.
Yeah, possibly just a few extra seconds to get in the pits, repair that damage, and hopefully more stable car for the second stint, make her way back up.
Yeah, Abiaza is the next driver to be in line to make his pit stop there. Ariadne is still holding on to his 9-second gap over Sean Pauli there. Sean Pauli, has noted how basically the Lexus has been teaming up to basically hold off the Nissans and Hondas with the no-stop strategy, loophole, trickery, and all that stuff. Now Nissan has noted that strategy and is now basically employing their own barricade strategy on their own. Specifically, Sean Pauli holding off Mohammad Zohair and Mohammad Shakib Reza basically eliminates the chance for overcut or an undercut strategy to work against Ariadne.
Yes, with that barricade strategy, you couldn't necessarily rely on just doing the no-stop. You had to rely on a good qualifying and make sure your teammates are around you to cooperate.
Yeah, speaking of which, Azad and Castro have pitted there, and we're going to be taking a huge shuffle. We're looking into a shuffle in the grid order here at the moment. It's so nearly contact there between Miguel Castro and Dan Powell. How did they not make contact there?
Yeah, we think we saw that in Split A as well, like people going for the pit exit and then overslowing themselves on the apex, possibly spooked by the drivers behind. I think Castro was actually even involved in that in Split A with that as well, if I remember correctly. So people were really getting spooked on the pit exit.
Yeah, getting really spooked as well. Meanwhile, Alex Grant is the next driver to basically commit to his stop, as does Gibbo. And we can be taking a look at all the other drivers there. Kizar Leo is still staying out, as does Shadrin Reza as well. Santini is going to be the next, also the next driver to make his pit stop.
Yeah, obviously all going for the one-stop strategy at this point. We don't see at this point anyone come into a two-stop with how bad that is. And obviously the Lexus can't do the no-stop, so everyone's adopting the one-stop strategy here.
And we're going to be taking a look into the race field monitor. The ones who are going to be the last to pit, Mama Shazin Reza, who is basically topped up to basically pit on basically lap 20. It's going to be an interesting strategy to make sure that the overcut works. It's now Gabriel Ariadne is called to pit. Let's see where Ariadne is going to exit relative to Shakif Reza, because that is going to be his opponent coming into this race. Oh yeah, Sean Pauly as well. He's going to be pitting as well.
Yeah, looking at that, it's that overcut strat, possibly get low fuel, fresh tyres until the end, maybe some quali-esque laps. But obviously we can't really see that much of a difference between quali and race lap times. People are still doing like 29s, maybe some 28s in there, but still very good race pace from everyone in the field.
Yeah, meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look. Where did the damage come from there from Mama Shakif Reza? Maybe there's a bit of a tangle and kerfuffle there between Alex Grant and Shakif Reza. Alex Grant is actually noted to be quite slower there, has actually poor exit just a little bit. Mama Shakif Reza looks to try to make a move, but he's not close enough. No dive bombs made here just yet. And we have confirmation Ariadne is the next to make his pit stop, as does Sean Pauly. Let's see where they are relative to all the other drivers, specifically Mama Shakif Reza.
Yeah, speaking of being relative to other drivers, we're noticing that Lexus is still in their little pack there, so even though they might not be taking the top 7 places in the field, they're taking like I think 5, so the last of the points paying positions from 6 to 10, with Kasher and Kazaneski pretty far behind at the moment compared to the rest of the Lexus team.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a look. Ariadne has just gone out of the pits. Sean Pauly has done Ariadne favors once again. It's the 176 points may end up becoming a 276 point gap over the rest of the field there, as Sean Pauly does a good job holding up the rest of the field, and actually Sean Pauly ends up gaining over Alex Grant and Shakif Reza. Actually, Alex Grant has actually beaten Alex Grant off pit road there by virtue of pit strategy. Meanwhile, Cal Gibbons and Abiaz are battling each other off as the 3 Hondas in front, Mama Zuhair, Gizar Leo, and Mama Shazin Reza are the last ones to basically commit to their pit stops.
Yeah, the Hondas and Nissans just slowing themselves down, where there's a bit of, you know, civil war with the Lexus at the moment, as there's been the theme throughout this weekend.
Yep, that's right. It has been a civil war between manufacturers there, but it looks like they're settling into the rhythm there. It's now basically every driver for themselves. Mama Zohair is about to cross the line there. Let's see where his lap times go. But as of right now, we're going to be looking into Mama Zohair making the pit stop second. Gizar Leo is going to be making his pit stop first. And 129.7 for Mama Zohair. Gizar Leo is going to set a 129.029, gains just a little bit to Zuhair. Shazareza sets a 28.9. Very good lap there.
Yeah, despite going for the longer first stint, still managing their tyres pretty well, still getting those good lap times, so keeping up with the rest of the field.
Which you may see Shazareza jumping up to maybe 7 for 6 at this rate, a 134.7, but that's only because Ariadne has just gone out of the pits on that lap. Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into some of the other drivers there. Sean Pauly is just exiting the final turn. We're going to be seeing some bits of a battle there. Shakif Reza and Alex Grant, they're not far. Well, they're not close there actually between those 2 drivers there, but in terms of battles there, we may be seeing a battle between Nee and Powell there for 11th place.
Yeah, not really in the points man position, but still wanting to get closer to Dev as well. Still, yeah, Dev and Powell 4 seconds apart at this point, so possibly just fighting for the silver spoon at this point, not really getting the points.
Yeah, fighting for the silver spoon. These are the last 3 drivers there. Miguel Castro, Raji Kaczynski, and Alex Bowen. Alex Bowen, I believe the last time he has scored a point was in the first race in round 1 at Fuji. Obviously, Alex Bowen, she's going through a dry spell here, but Looking at how Rajan has had a pretty meh exit and Alex Bowen having a better exit there. Alex Bowen may attempt a move there down the inside. Oh, she's really gaining. Really gaining. No, oh, she is close enough. Down the inside goes Alex Bowen into Kaczynski for 14th. Oh, takes a lot of curve. Nearly loses the car. Makes contact with Rajan Kaczynski's right side, and that would mean Alex Bowen will have even more damage there. But Alex Bowen getting a bit riled up there, but has to concede there. Has to think of the bigger picture.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough and tumble race for it this time around, like not really trying to reverse the fortunes of the first race, so still in last place at the moment.
Yeah, look, we're going to be taking a look at some of the other drivers there. Mohamed Shazrin Reza has caught up to Leo there, is now just over a second there, the gap between car number 30 and car number 40. Okayama Mimimio and Murasaki Shion respectively. Now, obviously, we're going to be talking about some of the fact files here for Muhammad Zohair there on basically the race lead. Representing Usada Pecora. Usada Pecora is basically quite well regarded as this war criminal thing. She may look cute on the inside, but she's very ruthless when it comes to certain parts of gameplay. I've noted that in some cases there, Usada Pecora has been known to basically troll her fellow members in Minecraft streams and all that stuff. Oh, but meanwhile, Alex Grant and Shakif Reza are going to be trying to look into a battle here. Shakif Reza is going to try to make a move on the inside and on the hairpin, but that didn't work out as they're still side by side in 3 sector 3.
And give it now taking a look up there as well. Not close enough to really make it free wide, but definitely keeping tabs on this little battle group here. Still side by side, heading to the penultimate corner. Neither of them really want to yield. Little touch there, not really helping each other out. Still a little bit of rough and tumble. And still a little bit of door-to-door banging there, so not really doing themselves any favors in the Lexus camp.
Yeah, the Lexus camp isn't doing much favors there as Gizara Leo gets out of the track. It's going to be a 5-race battle there. Gizara Leo nearly makes contact with Shakib Reza there, as the Lexus cars are going to have to try to maneuver the slower Leo with the colder tires there. Alex Grant looks to have that slight advantage, but look at Azad there. Azad is now side by side into the Moss S. Ooh, nearly makes contact there, but Leo has the inside line into Atwood. Let's see what Azad can do to have a better exit. Oh, nearly loses the car there. Great stuff from Azad trying to battle against Leo.
Yeah, Leo just those colder tires couldn't really put up a match. Just too cold, not enough grip.
Too cold, not enough grip indeed for these drivers. As you know, we'll be taking a look into the live gap, basically between all of these drivers there. Versus a 29.0 is going to be taking a look there. Leo's not doing himself much favors there. Okay, 28.9 there from Shazrin. Obviously, he will be one of the last guys to pit. Well, Momozoe is going to be the second last guy to pit. He is basically running on fumes there. And basically, we're going to talk about the battles here. Sean Pauly is going to be looking into his second podium, I believe. Was that his third podium? But whatever it is, he's going to be looking for another podium finish to his to the name and all that stuff. Shakib Reza is not far behind in net 4th place. Gimbo also not far behind. Zuhei may actually end up exiting in between 5th and 6th, and they may actually have the chance to basically disrupt the Lexus battle once again. But for now, they're all going single file.
Yeah, it was a bit of a conga line earlier for the Lexus, but now been broken up by everyone else who was doing their pit stop. Still Castro and Kaczynski in the tail end of the Lexus train. It's not really much of a train anymore with how far apart they are, but yeah, it's not really like the first race where it was just all Lexus in the line.
Yeah, looks like it's a Honda 1-2, Nissan 3-4, Lexus 5, 6, 7, 8, and Grant isn't that close enough to challenge Pauly for 4th. And yep, so we're going to be taking a look at some of the gap. Yes, we have confirmation Momozoe is going to pit. Let's see where he will exit relative to, let's say, Alex Grant, Shakib Reza, Callum Gibbons, and Abi Azad.
Yeah, those two really stretching out their stints, getting all the fuel out before getting their fresh tyres and hopefully lower fuel load and fast second stint to the end.
And we have confirmation that we have been hearing the call. Mohamed Shazin Reza will pit in this lap or two. But it looks like we have confirmation there. With the gap that Ariadne and Shazrin having at the moment there, Ariadne is going to instantly reassume the race lead once Shazrin Riza has pitted for fuel and tires. Meanwhile, Sean Pauly will be holding on to a comfortable second there. Alex will be scoring, will be looking to score his third consecutive podium position, podium finish of the split B basically. Basically a better fortune in B compared to A. As we'll be taking a look at some of the other drivers here. Shakib Reza not far behind. These drivers are only separated by under a second there. Between 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and all that stuff. Kizara Leo's gonna try his best to catch up to Azad. But yeah, and Santini is gonna try to battle for Dan Powell. Yes, it's for 11th place, but at this point it's for bragging rights.
Yeah, you take all the positions you can, even if it's not necessarily for points paying positions. As you said, bragging rights, decent entry to Atwood, decent exit, but may not be as close enough. 4 temps gap, so I think you're more looking for a 2 temp gap if you want to go for an overtake, so maybe just not close enough. Maybe a late dive, but nah, not this time, not quite close enough.
Yeah, Mohammad Shadrin Reza has basically pitted, basically being the last driver to pit. Mohammad Zuhair actually manages to break the Nissan 1-2. Now he's in the net second.
Yeah, breaking the fairy tale ending for the Nissans, so no 1-2 for them at this point.
Yeah, we're going to be taking a look into the live gaps here. Shadrin Reza is still in the pits there. All the other drivers are making around the Okayama circuit there. Sean Pauly is here. Mohammad Shadrin Reza has just gone out on track. It's going to be a battle between...
Oh no, this is going to get congested.
Yeah, it's going to be quite congested between all these drivers. Count Gibbons is now looking to fight Shakib Reza, and Abiyaza is now in the mix as well. With the new fresh tires there, actually we'll be taking a look into the tires here. Shakib Reza has the newest tires out of everyone so far. So basically Ariadne, Pauly and Grant have at least 7 lap old tires, and look at this, it's a sibling fight, it's a sibling battle here. Shakib Reza and Shadrin Reza side by side exiting Atwood curve. Looks like Shakib Reza has the better exit there off of Atwood, and it looks like Shakib Reza is going to be edging ahead of Mohammad Shazrin. It's the younger brother battling the elder brother, and the younger brother winning, but meanwhile Abi Azad is going to challenge Count Gibbons for 7th place.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. They're like finishing up the move at Atwood. Very good exit, very good capitalization on the fact that the Honda had, despite the fresher tires, cold temperatures, so obviously not as much grip, so you can get that move done early on.
But actually, we're going to be taking a look that we only have 9 laps to go here in Split B, and in the weekend here, we're still continuing the side-by-side battle into Redman and Hopstead between the number 18 and the 66. 2 vampiric demonic figures in Hololive there. Yosa Ramel car on the inside, Nakiri Ayame car on the outside. And it looks like the 18 car has the edge there, nearly pushes the 18 car off the track. And that it means it's going to be very distracting for both these drivers, with the number 40 and the 3 not far behind.
Yeah, not doing themselves any favours. That's the reward. Lexus Cab would be absolutely fuming, just putting themselves, they've disconnected themselves in the pack and now under pressure from Weir and Def.
We'll be taking a look into the interval between the drivers there. Gibbons and Azar are still battling side by side into Williams there. Takes a lot of curve there, number 18. They're still basically trading positions there. Not exactly trading paint there, but they are trading positions there for both of these drivers there. Let's see who's going to have the better exit there into Atwood curve there. Oh, takes a lot of curve, nearly upsets the car. But it looks like Azad will have upset the car there in exiting Atwood, and that's going to mean Leo's going to try to make a move. The Violent Mage versus the Vampire down the inside into the hairpin. It looks like Leo will have the edge over Azad, but let's see what Azad can do to defend that position.
Well, that curb still not finishing off the move into Revolver corner, so it's just going to have to tuck back in, hopefully get a good drive through Piper onto the back straight, still side by side. Heading under the billboard now, we have Azad with the inside line heading into Redman. Still taking all that curb, and I think still a bit of space, still tucking up in there, but not quite good traction to get even bowled up on the curb. So in the penultimate hole, it's the Lexus back in front.
Yeah, the Lexus back in front. The Vampire edges ahead of the Violent Mage there. We're going to be taking a look into the live gaps, and we're going to be seeing 2 potential battles there on the final stages of the race. Mohammad Shakib Reza on 7 laps older tires than Mohammad Shakib Reza. And then we have Count Gibbons and Abe Azad on 7 laps older tires, or is that 6 or 5 laps older tires compared to Kizara Leo. So we're seeing some fantastic battles here for basically the pack here. Meanwhile, Alex Grant and Sean Pauli. Sean Pauli has been very, very slow there. Basically, he lost out to his strategy alone compared to Mama Zohair, who has made the overcut strategy work, basically maintaining a consistent lap time and all that stuff. Sean Paul tried to remedy this by going to the pit lane to make some adjustments, but that didn't work out for the British. So that's gonna not do himself any favors there. We watch Shadon Reza closing in into his brother. Let's see what Shadon Reza can do for 5th.
One thing those like late stoppers doing their late overcut, you can see that the Lexus group is massively broken up now. Obviously that Honda coming in between them, it went from a Lexus train to now a 4-second gap between 6th and 7th.
Yeah, it's now a 4-second gap, but let's see what Reza can do to dispatch his brother very quickly there. Now, if you want to talk about basically the connection between the siblings there, they're very close there. They both traded blows about Hololive related jokes and basically inside jokes between families and all that stuff. They've all been very nice and dandy there, outside the car. But in these cars, they're going to be fighting tooth and nail for position there.
Yeah, not close enough to make a move into the first one, just tucking in there. And again, not really going side by side in this, so possibly going to try and have a look into Atwood and go into the back straight, but I think at this point with a 4-10 gap, you're going to need to be a bit closer than that to make a move.
At this point, you're going to probably try to take a look into getting a very good exit of Atwood there. Grant is edging closer into Pauli there. It's now 4/10 behind the Honda and the Lexus and all that stuff. Shadon Reza is closing in rapidly actually. 314, 2/10, 2/10, not close enough.
Yeah, just not really going for that aggressive move. He's probably seen how the others have tried to go for the aggressive move and they haven't, but have come worse off. We've seen doors banging, front wings been damaged and everything, so not exactly the ideal. So he was thinking about the long term, just settle back in, just keep going. It's all about the long game.
It's all about the long game there, but the long game is only 6 laps to go. Let's see what all of these drivers could basically have their hands on. Basically, Shadon Reza is going to try to show all of his cards against his brother Shakib. It's basically inter-sibling battle there. Shakib Reza is ahead of Shadon Reza in the driver's standings by quite a margin there. Shakib Reza is still holding on into the top 5. Meanwhile, his brother is in the bottom 5. Meanwhile, we're taking a look into the sibling battle here. Shakib Reza is currently in 5th. Shadon Reza is currently in 6th. And if we'll be talking about the live gap there, Kizara Leo has actually pulled away from Dev and trying to counter the battle into Azad. Leo hasn't been doing much actually.
Yeah, not much, but now he's catching up towards the little Lexus duo here of Azad and Gibbo. Still in formation, not really out of budget this time. I think they got the call from the Lexus camp say, hey, chill out guys, we just want to finish. Don't kill each other in the process.
Yeah, but at the same time there, Shadon Reza doesn't have a good exit there down the exit of Atwood, and that's not going to do him any favors. He wants to make a move down the hairpin. Well, not he's going to make a move down the hairpin anyway. Well, Leo has been getting closer and closer to Azad, but not close enough to actually make the pass on Azad and Gibbo and all that stuff. Meanwhile, Shakib Reza is actually closing in to Alex Grant, who's going to try his absolute best to pass Sean Pauli, who is desperately holding on to the final podium positions.
Yeah, it's gone from a, 2 groups of 2 into a forecast battle now for the final podium position. Pauli still holding off Grant, 7/10 to margin, 8/10 to margin back to Shakib Reza, and then Shazan Reza 7/10 and then back to 7.5 seconds. So it's definitely a good little 4-car group for the final spot on the podium.
Yeah, basically a Nissan 1.3 at the very least. No fairy tale Nissan 1.2 here at the moment. Kizara Leo is only 5/10, actually has a poor exit compared to Azad, and Azad's going to hold on to 8th place there. Shadon Reza, his tires are probably shot at this point, tries his best to basically try to edge ahead of Shakib, but Shakib has the worst tires overall. So we'll be taking a look into the guys between the leader there. Won't tell the full story there. Here's the full story. Alex Grant is only 4/10 behind Sean Pauli there. He's gonna try his best to basically make it the gap up in the corners and then have a good gap there. Meanwhile, we'll be taking a look into Shakib Reza and Shakib Reza. They're still quite far behind. There won't be a battle here yet.
Yeah, I think we're definitely the top two positions are mostly sort of the 20 seconds gap between Ariadne and Zuhair, with Polly 4.3 seconds behind, so I think it's all to play for the midfield in the final opponent position.
There's all to play for there. Actually, Gibbo is, for one, I think, catching up into the basically the battling pack for the final podium positions. You look at Gibbo, he's actually going some of the gaps back to Shadrin Reza for basically 6 basically. So later on in this race we could be seeing these drivers converge into one another into basically the 9 stages of the race. And we're going to be taking a look into the progress chart once again. Momozoya is doing a remarkable job. He's going to be scoring his first podium finish of Split B. Alex Grant does very well to recover from 8th to 4th. Shadreza does his best to recover from 9th to 6th. That is going to pull himself further up into the championship standings there. He could be able to basically, I believe, okay, doesn't overtake Kaczynski, but he will do himself favors in the championship by moving up into the rankings.
Yeah, it's definitely, in terms of the progress chart, we're not really seeing like what happened previously where people were getting like 10 possessions or anything like that, but it's definitely good progress from off the field.
Yes, we're going to be taking a look into some of the remaining drivers here if we want to talk about battles. We're going to be taking a look into the live interval gap there. Shadreza is still trying to catch ever closer to Shakib Reza, but not far close enough there. Gibbons has actually closed up quite a good amount to Shadreza Reza. He's now, previous lap they were around 3.8 seconds, now it's 3.4 seconds, but with only 4 laps to go here in Okayama. Let's see what the second pack can do to catch the first pack.
Possibly Gibbo just, managing those tyres, saving up towards the end, but it might be a bit too late. There's very few laps left, so if he wants to get towards that top 5, he's really got to get a move on right now.
Yeah, speaking of the gaps here, Mohamed Reza is actively trying his absolute best to outscore his little brother there. But of course, deep down in his mind, he knows that he's proud of what his brother had done, because he's currently in the top 5 of the championship standings and is looking to stay in the top 5 of the championship standings. Well, with his brother behind him, I believe it could be extra motivation for him to stay ahead of his brother, because 1 is for bragging rights and 2 is to basically prove the notion. If Roboco's Wi-Fi can be fast, then this car can also be fast as well, and actually fast enough to actually edge out your brother, who is actually leading the Split A Championship in the number 31, even more in the Honda.
We know that team orders can be a thing within manufacturers, but do you think sibling orders are a thing?
Sibling orders, I don't know, but usually between the two, I would expect that there won't be any sibling orders much. There won't be orders for the two to hold steady and all that stuff, because he knows that Shakib Reza is basically leading the sibling fight in the championship standings. So basically, Shakib Reza wants to repay the favor to his own brother by basically trying to edge him ahead of at least this one race, as we're about to start the final 2 laps of the weekend.
Yes, Ariadne is still with that big 20-second gap, so have 5 seconds down to Polly, so top 2 positions are probably mostly sorted unless they have their own mistake. Still all to play for the final podium position.
And speaking of positions there, Paul is doing his absolute best. Grant has used up his tires too much to the point where he's actually losing ground to Paulie here. And meanwhile, we need to continue to look into this sibling battle here. Shadreza is edging quite closer and closer to Shakib Reza. Let's see what Shakib Reza can do to get a very good exit off the Atwood curve. He's now much closer than ever. He's basically gaining just a little bit. He's actually gaining a bit more there. 3 tenths still. 2 tenths now. Let's see what more Shakib Reza could do. Could he make a move? He might make a move down the inside. Camera shots are not actually. Here it is. Here comes the battle. We're all been looking for. He's tramlining the curbs there. Here's a sibling battle there on the final 2 laps of the race. It's Shaki Reza on the inside. Shaki Reza's on the outside. Who's going to be edging ahead? Exiting Piper. Shaki Reza is not edging ahead, exiting Piper. But Shaki Reza is not taking it. Lying down into Sector 3, into Redmond. On the inside goes Shaki. But this time on the inside goes Shaki Reza. Now he wants to take the move, takes as minimal curve as possible, get the best exit out of it. And it looks like Mama Shadid Reza is gonna try to pushes his brother off the track. Mama Shadid Reza he's pulling out all the stops possible to make sure that he wants that position. He wants that bragging rights, and now he's up to 5th. And even if it comes at the cost of pushing his brother off the track, and we're gonna be taking a look into the final lap of the race. Gabriel Ariadne still leads from Mama Zohair. Sean Pauly is in 3rd. He's gonna be holding on to his podium finishing position. Once again, Alex Grant will not score his 3rd consecutive podium here at the moment. It's crazy stuff between the 2 siblings.
Yeah, there was like any orders there that just went completely out the window, just threw the rule book out. It's like, no, Stafford, I want that position, I'll get it by any means necessary.
Meanwhile, we're taking a look into if there are any battles here at the moment. Right now, there's no battles here at the moment. Here's Gabriel Ariadne, representing the OG member of Hololive Tokinosora. We've talked about this in detail last time out at Fuji. Basically, Ariadne really shows to be the class of the field here in Split B, with a 2nd and a 1st and a 10th and yet another 1st place. We're going to be seeing yet another win for Gabriel Ariadne as he takes his 2nd win of the season. Great job there from the Brazilian. Good job for Muhammad Zohair as well, as he's about to cross the final 2 turns to basically score his 1st podium in Split B competition. Sean Pauly is going to do his best to basically represent an Okakoro podium finish for both Split A and B. Very good job for Sean Pauly to bring an Okakoro podium for basically the 2 members from Hololive Gamers. Alex Grant, very solid in 4th. Shaki Reza holds on to 5th, very solid as well. Shaki Reza has to settle for 6th. But, for these 2 siblings there, let's just say that both of these brothers are satisfied with what they have at the moment. They have been battling very hard, it's mostly clean, and then when one of the siblings puts out all the stops, that's when all hell breaks loose. But fortunately, none of those drivers are out of the race. And with all of these drivers here finishing, it's a very good sight here for all these drivers.
Yeah, good sight indeed, and there wasn't really that much disparity this time between the Hondas, Lexus and Nissans, so good parity there, good racing. Everyone had a shot at it and they provided a good show for us.
That's a great show for everyone involved there, as we're going to be taking a look into the transition and into the race results. It's a very interesting race here in Okayama, especially for Split B. Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into the race results here. Gabriel Ariadne takes the win for the 2nd time in Split B, representing the Tokinosora Nissan. It's actually a 1:11.12 with Muhammad Zohair scoring his 1st podium in Split B, representing Usada Pecora. Sean Pauly in the number 5's Nekomata Kayu Nissan manages to score a 3rd place. Very good score from the British. Alex Grant in the number 19 Akirosa Lexus, also very good there, scoring a 4th. Muhammad Shadid Reza with a 5th place points finish with that 2nd to last lap pass on Shaki Reza. That will be memorable for years to come. Muhammad Shaki Reza finishes 6th, has to settle for 6th against his elder brother. Callum Gibbons is in 7th. Basically, also a good race for him. Consistent points all around. Abi Azad couldn't defend his race win. Couldn't defend his win there. He finishes 8th, but still he'll take it anyway, as he's now up into, I believe, the top 5 of the championship, it seems. Kizara Leo manages to score a point again for Murasaki Shion, and felt that rounds out the points payers with representing Tsunamaki one time in 10th. And for those who don't score any points, Dan Powell, what can I say about him? Well, for all 4 of these races there, Dan Powell just couldn't nail the car for a good, decent points paying position. Santi D doesn't get to score a point this time by Miguel Castro and Raich Kaczynski as well. After a good 1st race, Alex Bowen as well you have to commiserate with Alex there. She's trying her absolute best for basically trying their best to find a way to get some points and all that stuff, but it just wasn't meant to be. But overall, Gibbo, as we're gonna be going into the replay there, especially we're gonna be taking a look into the lap 26 battle between the Reza siblings. What are your thoughts about the two races so far?
Oh yeah, good show from everyone. Good, as I said, good to see that parity between all the manufacturers after the disaster for Lexus from Split A. So they were really able to keep it up there even with that loophole closed up.
And here's the battle here between the Reza siblings. It is in the lap 26. Down the inside goes Mamashad and Reza. Takes a good amount of curb, then tramlines the curbs almost. Chucky Reza was ahead into Revolver. Mamashad and Reza is ahead of Piper, but has a poor exit of a Piper that is gonna give Mamashad and Reza a bit of half a car length entering Redmond. But exiting Redmond, Shaka is very poor into Hops. But Shadreza has a poor exit off of Hops. But actually Shadreza is actually, they're both side by side into Mike Knight. Just pushes Shadreza off the track just a little bit. But overall it's door banging racing, but still clean racing nonetheless. We're going to be taking a look into the onboard of Shadreza. Here is the onboard. Look at the windshield. Look at the rear view mirrors. Shadreza on the inside. Shadreza's on the outside. Into Revolver, trying his best to basically edge ahead of his brother. There's his brother on the right there. Shakareza is slightly ahead of the Honda into Sector 3. Into Redmond, he is ahead, but basically compromises his exit for quite a lot. You can see the Honda just on the right side there. They're both neck and neck, but the Honda just has the better traction there. And then Shazin just commits to the corner, pushes Shakireza off, and let's just say it's clean race, it's acceptable racing. Well, it is a bit dirty between the two drivers. Let's just say it's clean for both of them, let's say. And as we're about to take a look into the championship aspirations here, let's actually, before that, can we preview Sepang for a while? Given that it's basically the home race for at most 5 of us, at least 4 of the members in the Hololive GT3 Japan series. Basically the Reza siblings, Shazin Reza and Shakif Reza, Kizuhara Leo, Abe Azad, and Muhammad Zohair being Malaysians. They all have something to prove in basically the round at Sepang. So I want to hear your thoughts about Sepang as well, Gibbo.
Yes, I remember seeing Sepang like back when Formula 1 used to be there as well, and I believe MotoGP is still there, so good heritage in both car and bike racing, and we could probably expect much of the same with these GT3 cars.
And speaking of some good racing here, that good racing led to some pretty interesting shakeup in the standings. We've talked about how if the top guys can hold on to their positions and how the guys at the bottom could climb up from the bottom. Here it is. Gabriel Ariadne still holds on to the championship lead, actually, with 276 points. Actually, a bit more than Mohammad Shakir Reza could muster in the 4 races that he has participated in Split A. Mohammad Shakir Reza only has 176 points. Basically, with his 6th place points paying position, he manages to basically have a turnaround. He basically mimic just above a podium position for 1 race, with consistent finishes on both races as well. Alex Grant, with his 4th place finish, manages to stay up in the top 5 in 3rd place. Dan Powell, no points for him. He drops down from 3rd to 4th in the championship standings. Sean Pauly holds on to 5th in the top 5 as well. Abi Azad, from last to 6th, no less. Very good showing from the Malaysian, as does Muhammad Zohair. He was in 9th place, now up to 7th with 103 points. Callum Gibbons went from 6th to 8th after a pretty mess showing in race 1 and a pretty decent showing in race 2. Philip Dev still shows his consistency. He's now with 66 points. And because of his 5th place finish there for Muhammad Shahid Reza, he now jumps up into the top 10. Now, one of the biggest losers there being Kizuhara Leo. He was in 8th place prior to round 2. Now he's down to 11th. Cesar Santini from 9th to 13th. Raji Kaczynski still holds on to the bottom 10 as well. Miguel Castro still holds on to 14th after all that. And Alex Bowen will need to do a lot of self-reflection and some basically a lot of talk within himself to basically recollect himself into Sepang. So yeah, that is basically the race weekend done and dusted for all of these drivers. So like we've all said, has been a very fun race for all of us there. We'd like to thank everyone for joining into the stream and all that stuff. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this as much as we do. And as we're about to close the stream for a bit, we'll just hope that this series will be pushed over to great heights. As I actually wanted to note about something. We may be able to see more new series coming up, given how big Hololive is at the moment. We could be seeing a feeder racing series later on in the future. Who knows? But whatever it is, we hope you enjoyed the stream. We hope you will be able to stick around with us in the near future. Remember, the next race in Sepang will take place on May 14th and 15th. So save the date for the lot of you. So yeah, like I said, we hope you enjoyed the stream. And yeah, with all that being said, we hope you enjoyed as much as we do. And we'll see you in Sepang for when we go to round 3 of the 2022 Hololive GT3 Japan Series for both splits.